TikTok in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. We got a tale of three topics here today. Kind of want to talk to you folks just to see what's on your mind as well. It's another day in the political realm of President Trump. So, having said that, things come and go under President Trump. Trump is a very what do you want to call it? A very busy politician. Let's just say it like that. He's in the news all the time. Shit is happening quite often under President Trump. And I don't think that's going to change for the remainder of Trump's term. Nevertheless, we're going to talk about it. Dolomite, how have you been, bro? I haven't heard about Dolomite in a long time. Wow, that's. Who played the character Dolomite? Man, that's like a 70s character, is it not? Anyway, let me go ahead and continue on. First thing I want to talk about is the outrage taking place in Dearborn, Michigan. If you lean right, you've heard about this. If you're on the right side of the aisle, you probably know what I'm about to get into. And I want to ask you folks, why is this getting so much damn attention? Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about the Muslims, because Dearborn, Michigan is a heavy Muslim community. And in that community, that is heavily Muslim based. They pray just like most Muslim communities do. But the thing about it is, when the Muslim community gets ready to pray, they have a let's just say a prayer bell that goes off, and the prayer bell, for lack of a better term, is annoying the residents in Dearborn, Michigan. I'll give you a sample of what this sounds like, and apparently it can be heard from easily a quarter of a mile away or more in folks' residence. Not only are you hearing this, but the Muslim community prays multiple times a day, and this goes off as early as 5:30 in the morning. How would you feel if that was happening in your neighborhood? That's a call letting them know it's time to pray. That sound is played in the Muslim community several times a day, at as early as 5:30 in the morning. Now, as I stated, and by the way, somebody asked, "Am I on X?" I'm getting X up momentarily. I was trying something else out, but we're going to be live on X in probably a minute or two. But that sound is being played on, I guess, on some type of bullhorn or some type of speaker or something, and it can be heard throughout the community. Now, I get that it is indeed some form of a noise ordinance. I get that. I mean, I get the fact that you're violating noises and things like that. But why? The question I want to ask is, why is this making national news though? Okay, somebody in a neighborhood in Dearborn, Michigan, is violating the noise ordinance. Fair enough. But why is this making news on Fox? Right wing platforms are pissed off. Why is this making national news? That's what I want to talk about. This because look, if people drive down the street with a stereo bumping in their car or have a party that goes on too loud. I mean, there are fights. I mean, there's a lot of things in America that violate various news ordinances in different neighborhoods. Why is this getting national attention though? Why is this getting national attention? So I do want to talk to you folks about that. And hear what you think. What would you do if it happened in your neighborhood? Police is 65% Muslim, and they're enforcing Sharia law, says Ed G. Is that true? Has anybody heard that? That the police in Dearborn, Michigan are 65% Muslim, and they're imposing Sharia law, or they better yet enforcing Sharia law. I can't now. I don't know, so I got to plead ignorance on it. But I can't imagine that that would be allowed. You're telling me the police in Dearborn, Michigan, are 65% Muslim, and they are actively enforcing Sharia law. What happens if you're in a Muslim country and you violate the codes of Sharia law? Okay, so if you're in America in a heavily, based Muslim city like Dearborn, Michigan, and you violate Sharia law, what are they going to do to you? You can't take you can't take them to jail and charge them with anything. The courts, it's not against the law in America. I don't see how that could happen, Ed. Like I said, I'm going to plead ignorance because you're the first I've heard say this, but I can't see how they can legally do that. And I see in the comments someone made a comical reference in regards to what you just said. Miller Time says, and the other 45%, actually 35%, your math's off, but he says, and the other 35% are transvestite. So 65% of them are Muslim cops, and the other remaining 35 are transgender, not transvestite, transgender. It's funny, but I do agree with you, R. Jenny or whatever you say. I call BS. I don't know what the name is, but I do. I find it hard to believe that any American cop with a badge in this country could be enforcing Sharia law. I would have to see some sort of evidence on that. But anyway, looking in the comments, yes, the city can enforce noise between. Yeah, you can get them for violating noise ordinances. I'm fine with that. I'm just trying to figure out why is this getting national attention all over right wing media. What is so special about this? We're a long way from Luther Vandross, huh? Anyway, tap the screen, folks. Get the likes on up to about 10,000. I need you guys to do that, particularly on TikTok, to get the show started. You know what we always say? We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. The program is always free speech. We're always MAGA friendly. We always have been MAGA friendly. We always will be MAGA friendly. By the way, we are currently on X as well. Now, somebody asked earlier, were we live on X? Yes, we are currently live on X. I just don't have my equipment ready to go, but we are currently live on X. So tap the screen, get your boy on up to 10,000. Helps out the program, helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. And if you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, feel free to smash that like button as well. Follow the program, give your boy a sub. Additionally, now that's not our only topic, by the way. Talking about what's going on, I still don't know why my damn equipment is not working, but that's not the only thing we want to discuss here. I want to find out from you folks, in regards to the National Guard being sent into the city of Chicago. Simple. I guess the simplest of questions I could ask is, do you believe it on in there? Do you believe that President Trump sending the National Guard into Chicago? Do you believe that? Okay, he sent them into Los Angeles, then he sent them into the District of Columbia, Washington D.C. Then we went on to Portland, Oregon. And now we're in Chicago. Now, I want to ask you folks, do you think that this will be it? Because in addition to those, now why did Trump send in the National Guard to these places? The problem is the reasons are varied. The reasons are actually varied. When he sent the National Guard into Los Angeles, there were perceived riots going on in LA. I'm actually updating my notes while I'm talking to you. There were perceived riots going on in Los Angeles. Some sort of federal building was supposedly under attack. So the National Guard and the active duty Marines were sent into Los Angeles because of rioting and protesting. Now, skip from Los Angeles to DC had nothing to do with protesting and rioting. In D.C., the reason the National Guard were sent in, according to President Trump, was because of the high crime. So in DC, the reason for sending the National Guard is totally different from what it was in Los Angeles. Okay, so now after sending the National Guard into Los Angeles, the National Guard were sent into Portland, Oregon. Why was the National Guard sent into Portland, Oregon? To back up ICE. Same reason why they're in Chicago, to back up ICE and immigration. So we're talking three different reasons for deploying the National Guard. Crime, to back up the federal government officials like ICE and immigration officials, and when there's widespread protests and riots. So the question I want to ask is, do you foresee any possibility that President Trump in the future may deploy the National Guard to another city again? Because some are starting to argue that the pattern, and by the way, let me make something clear. Chicago, Portland, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles, I don't think any of those cities are on the top 10 in terms of most violent cities in America. None of those cities are. So when it comes to, sending in the National Guard to squelch crime in D.C. or in Chicago, he's obviously skipped down the list to get to those cities because Memphis, St. Louis, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, there are more violent cities than Chicago. And he hasn't even talked about sending the National Guard into most of those cities. I think he mentioned Memphis. I don't believe anything has culminated out of that so far, but he has mentioned Memphis. No word about St. Louis. Little Rock, Arkansas is pretty damn violent as well. No mention of that. No mention of Baton Rouge. I think he mentioned New Orleans, but nothing that's formulated from that. In fact, Louisiana, despite having two very violent cities in New Orleans and Baton Rouge, actually sent their National Guard to Washington, D.C., a significantly safer city than New Orleans. So I don't understand that, but no mention of these cities. I don't know where Houston ranks on the list, but Houston has plenty of violence in it as well. And President Trump has currently deployed their National Guard to Chicago. So do you see any possibility that there may be future deployments of National Guard in the future? And I'm asking that for the simple question of, if President Trump can deem rioting and protesting as an emergency, therefore I need to deploy the National Guard. If he can deem that ICE is being overwhelmed and the city police are not enough, I need to deploy the National Guard. Or just simply say that crime in a major American city is not being properly dealt with, I need to deploy the National Guard. The point is, what's to stop him from declaring future emergencies? Such as, what is one of President Trump's most common complaints that he does not believe that is being addressed? Election fraud. So the question simply is, do you believe that if President Trump stated that some liberal outfit, some liberal state, some liberal city or county was not properly managing their election, therefore he needed to deploy the National Guard to the polling and ballot places in that area, do you believe MAGA would have any problem with that? Because we're asking, is it possible that if the National Guard may get deployed again? I've given you three separate emergencies Trump has used to deploy the National Guard. Is there any reason that he'll stop at three? I want to ask you that. High taxes. Just think about how a liberal city is ran, and think about the complaints that the right often makes in regards to how liberal cities are ran. Can you formulate any argument whatsoever that there is an emergency so that you need to deploy the National Guard? The taxation is off the chain. You're mistreating Christians in this area. Perhaps you are ostracizing white men. I mean, can you think of any emergency that may go on in a liberal city or better yet, can you think of any issue that may go on in a liberal city that could be deemed an emergency by our current commander-in-chief? Because I'm asking, do you believe the National Guard will be deployed again in the future to other major American areas? And by the way, let's be clear, and I'll go to the box in a moment here. Tap the screen. We should be about 10,000. Get us up to 10,000. We'll take the first call there for my TikTok viewers. We're currently on Instagram. We're currently on YouTube and, of course, X. For some of you folks who like X, we're on X as well. And I'm talking about X, the website, not X, the narcotic. So some of you folks like X, we're also live on X. But we've had three different reasons Trump has declared an emergency and therefore sent in the National Guard. Can you see the possibility of him declaring something else as an emergency? And I gave you plenty of possible avenues. Last but not least, we're gonna have a little bit of fun with this one. Tap the screen, get us up to 10,000. We'll take the first caller. Last but not least, just to have a little fun with this one. So far, President Trump's been in what, 8-9 months or whatever. January. So he came in the first month. This is now what, the 10th month. So he's been in 9 months, I guess, if I'm getting my math right. He's approaching 9 months. What letter grade would you give Trump so far? What letter grade would you give our current commander-in-chief so far? He still has 3 years and about 3.25 years, maybe something like that, to go. So it's still plenty of time for President Trump to lead this nation. However, he's done a lot quickly. He moves at the speed of light, or as Steve Bannon once said, flood the zone. So I'm asking, what letter grade would you give him so far? He's almost a quarter through his term, A, B, C, D, or F, like we used to get in high school. I know a lot of the kids nowadays get all kinds of other funky grades and things like that. But I'm talking to my Gen X, my millennials, the ones in maybe a few members of the baby boomers in here, but I'm talking to my generation that know what a letter grade is, not this E's and U's and all these N's and these other grades they give kids now. A, B, C, D, or F. What letter grade would you give them? Gas went up and food prices. What did that say? Somebody said gas prices. Gas went up and food prices, says Paul Palmer. You giving them an F. I'll tell you this, I don't know about the gas prices. I got a lot of Americans, a lot of viewers, even some friends. I used to be in the over-the-road industry. I got a lot of people who are telling me that gas prices are going down. So I don't know about gas prices. Groceries, I don't think there's anyone suggesting that groceries have come down in price. But gas prices, people are saying gas prices have been curtailed to some degree. So we'll go ahead and go. I want to take some calls, but you guys are being lazy on the thumbs there on TikTok. Tap the screen, get the lights on up to 10,000. You guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. This has always been a MAGA-friendly program, always will be. Understand, you don't have to agree with any damn body on this program. You don't have to agree with yours truly or anyone in the comments. You can be critical of yours truly or anyone in the comments. We remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. Liberals are welcome as well. But our commentary goes left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Everyone gets to speak. So looking in the comments right off to start the program off, gas has remained basically the same his presidency here in Texas, says Josh. I guess then that would be kind of a mid-level mark, like a C, because Trump did run on lowering prices, not stabilizing them. But they didn't go up under him either. So, I guess the fact that they didn't go up would probably maybe save him from getting an F. But because you're saying the prices have stayed the same in Texas, which we were bitching and complaining about under Biden, he certainly won't get an A. Because if the price of gas hasn't changed in Texas, then you got to ask the Texas residents, how do you feel about that, considering how angry you were at Biden when the prices were the same? So, looking in the comments, vocabulary. I like the way you did that. Says, Memphis has a task force of the alphabet bureaus. The guard will be here in a few weeks. A task, what do we say? You say a task force of the, and thank you for the super chat vocabulary. You say a task force of the alphabet bureau. So you mean like ATF, DEA, FBI, CIA, the 3-letter organizations. Okay. I think most major cities already have that, but are those task forces going around now getting involved in duties that they normally did not? Are you seeing ATF agents standing around with, the yellow ATF blazers on and shit like that? Or are they just continuing doing what they're doing? Beef is up 13%, says Chris Richardson. To be honest with you, I'm going to ask you, shit, is that all? I'm a big fan of a good steak. I love a good steak. I try to eat a good steak at least once a week. It's getting to the point where it's starting to be above my budget. A good T-bone can raw. I'm talking about a fucking raw T-bone. I'm not talking about going to Outback or Roadhouse or Lone Star Steak. I'm talking about a raw T-bone where you got to go to the grocery store and buy it. 25 to 30 bucks or more. 25 to 30 bucks. That's expensive for a dinner you got to cook yourself, and that's just the meat. That's not even including the starch, the vegetable, the side, none of it. Just a piece of meat. 30 bucks, 25 to 30 bucks, depending on how much you want it, how big you want it. So yeah, the price of beef is insane. It is really getting insane. Yeah, shit is mad expensive. What happened to Trump virtually promising to lower gas prices on day one? What happened to that? We're on like day 200 and something. And I will ask, now we know how the liberals are going to feel about this, but why are MAGA so silent on this? MAGA was going apeshit just over the price of eggs. Whereas under Trump, the price of virtually everything has went up, and they're silent. Can somebody explain that? They're silent. Real Talk says groceries has come down. Really? Where are you located, Real Talk? Good to see you on the show again. I haven't seen you in a while in the comments. Where are you located that grocery prices have come down in your area? You're the first person I've heard say that. Even many of my beloved MAGA viewers are not claiming that groceries are coming down. I'm curious to know, where are you at that groceries are coming down in price? Gangsta Grandma, starting the show off. Good evening. Welcome to the program.
Girly Pop, don't you be fluffing tonight.
No fluffing, ma'am. No fluffing.
No, do not. You better be pushing back. Be a fucking black man and push the fuck back. You got weight on your ass. Push the fuck back. And these little maggots over here saying gas prices are down and food is down. No, they're not. It's up as hell.
Where?
And you know why though they're really quiet? Because they didn't vote for egg prices to go down. They voted for race. They voted for it to be white again. They didn't vote for lower gas prices and lower food prices. That's why they're so quiet.
You're saying that MAGA voted for race. What do you mean? Explain that. What do you say exactly?
They're racist. They voted for what they wanted. They voted for the Triple K in office. That's what they wanted. This shit wasn't about, egg prices. Why they not bitching? Why they not bitching when the damn beef is almost up to 20% high?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, one of my viewers said...
by the pound, I went to the store to buy a ribeye, $18.99 a pound.
Yeah, one of my viewers said, beef is up 13%, and I'm like you. I'm like, it seemed like it's more than 13%.
It is more. Avocados, let me tell you, the fruit and vegetables are 38% more. All behind him, the white man. All behind him. All this shit is behind him.
Okay, so some folks may ask, like the liberals were asking during the Biden administration, how is the president responsible for an increase in prices?
He has tariffs. Tariffs are doing it coming back. You're paying more. Our beef comes from Brazil.
Yeah.
A lot of our beef comes from Brazil. Pork comes from Canada. All this shit is tariffed.
Well, R in the comments says if you would get Republicans in office around you, the changes would be noticeable. So are there maybe too few Republicans in your area?
I'm in a blue state. I'm in California. Well, that's my home state, Cali.
You got high taxes out there.
Yeah, we pay for the red states. We should hold our shit back and let them really suffer. Because they'll just say, we got to cheap this. Well, you're going to fuck around and find out when California takes some money, and New York.
Well, R in the comments says, you're talking about you pay for red states. He says red states are cheaper and safer. So maybe you should consider leaving California.
Red states are cheaper. They're the most violent. They're the top 10. California is not even in the top 10. Chicago's not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
It's the red states. So who's violent?
Red states are more violent. Now, the Republicans have a hard time believing something like that.
Well, because the dingbats. They be sucking on that white man's cock so bad, they be drinking his uncooked protein. Even the white damn people, the ones that be begging, they just nasty. That's why I try to tell you, these damn white people that voted for him, are they are inbred. They are inbred. They be fucking their mamas. They don't even know who their mama is. They could be their sister. They just nasty people. But you know why? Because they voted for a scum like that. And then just wait. If the Democrats did not fight this shit, they would be crying right now because their damn insurance would be going through the fucking roof. They can't even afford to feed their own damn kids now.
Well, listen, insurance costs have always been high, but I don't think the right sees it that way. I don't think they see the Democrats fighting for them.
The special ed dropout, Tim. The special ed dropouts, they're interbred special ed dropouts. That's what they is.
What does interbred got to do with MAGA?
Because they fuck up their head so much, they believe anything. They can't be leader, they're a follower. If this motherfucker told them to go jump off a bridge, they would do it. With a dick in their hand, they would do it. That's how dumb and special ed dropouts these motherfuckers are. Why do you think they said the red states are the dumbest states? In education and everything else, they're the dumbest. Because they believe an idiot like him. And the orange orangutan, they believe him.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
I'm going to take the gas prices down. I'm going to get the groceries down. Oh, my God.
I'm going to tell you, it is folks in the red states that think you liberals are the idiots.
Well, what? That's why he said that the smart ones are mad at him. He calls his own people dumb. Right to your faces, you dumbasses. Why is he said though the smart ones are mad at him. Yeah, the Democrats are. We are the intelligent ones. We make more money than they do. Yes, we do. Well, and that's statistically known. And we are intelligent more than they do. Yeah.
Well, here's a big improvement. Chris Richardson in the comments says that, hey, Mississippi has moved up to 16th in education. So
that's a damn lie. That's a damn fucking lie. They're top bottom. The top 5 bottom.
Yeah, that would.
So shut the fuck up on that shit.
That would.
You motherfuckers can't even read. You guys had sex so much with your damn own people, you got to fuck your own heads up.
I don't know why you keep saying that. I don't know why you keep saying that. I mean,
because they are the interbred motherfuckers. They are. Am I lying? No, you didn't believe me till you looked it up.
I mean, I've seen a few cases of incest here and there. There's a
whole hell of a lot down south, honey.
I mean,
Tom, Dick, and Jerry.
Occasionally you happen to be. I mean, let's just be clear. Occasionally you happen to get blessed with a good-looking uncle or a cousin. I mean, it happens.
Hell no. That's just nasty, man.
I mean, I guess it happens occasionally.
I'm telling you, those white people are nasty as hell. Why do you think they're the most dangerous? They're the damn what? They the white tea devil. Maggots are the white tea devil.
Now I got viewers saying it's the Democrats are the ones that are like the party of Satan.
Oh, we are? Are we the ones that taking people's rights away? Are we the ones that having ICE going and putting little kids in handcuffs in the middle of the fucking night naked? Are we? No, we're not. We want people to leave people the fuck alone. We want people to have their food stamps and have their medical and without touching it. Mind your damn business. You know what I mean? Well, no. They want big government. They want people to tell you what you can and cannot do.
Well, let me.
The opposite.
Well, let me ask you that. Speaking of what you mentioned with the National Guard in Chicago, do you think it's possible that he may send the National Guard anywhere else?
They're going to stop him.
What do you mean?
Even the judges are trying to stop him.
Yeah.
They're stopping him. He wants to be a dictator. And I guess the little maggots like to be a dictator. Not this one.
I see Dave Greco in the comments says he bets you are on government assistance.
I'm on government assistance? With a $180,000 car, I'm on government assistance. A 5-bedroom home, I'm on government assistance. Okay. Yep, welfare paid for it, Tim. 180 grand. They paid for it, Timmy. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. A nice Porsche. I'll be damned. They paid for it, Timmy. All those food stamps.
That's a hell of a car. But anyway, so let me ask you. I guess I kind of know the answer, With me talking about so far, Trump has only been in office for a little bit less than a year. What grade you giving him so far? A, B, C, D, or F?
F minus, negative F minus to the point. What has that motherfucker done?
Border.
That damn thing.
Border.
You know what though?
He's done a good job on the border.
Oh, shut the fuck up about the border, dude. You're so fucking special ed. Drop out your damn self. You can't even name one policy he did after the border. Name me a damn policy.
I don't have to name you a policy. The border is.
Yes, you do.
Hold up.
If you wanted the border to be secure, it has to go through policy. What is that? It's the same damn thing. Pookie and Ray Ray's. No. He hasn't done shit. He hasn't done shit. Because you know why? Because when he leaves, it's still going to be the damn thing.
How about the fact that he closed the border? You don't give him any credit for that at all.
He didn't close the damn border, dumbass. You cannot close the border. It is open. It's unconstitutional. That's why you motherfuckers are dumb. Even on our side, you're fucking dumb. Your education system fucked you in the ass without a condom. Because that is the fact, Timmy boy. It didn't do nothing. You cannot close the border.
You're telling me that under Trump, the border is no more secure. He hasn't secured the border at all.
Nope. Not like that. Nope. All that he did stop was, and it's against the damn Constitution, is asylum.
TPS?
That's all he did.
TPS?
And TPS, and sending them back, yeah.
What about the...
That's not closing the damn border. You cannot close the border. It is wide the fuck open. Our border's never been closed.
All of the military personnel, he built the wall, he put Constantine wire around.
He didn't build no damn wall. Where's the wall being built? He's not building a damn wall.
No, he's
not.
Gangster, he got half the military down there. That border is secure.
He's not building the wall, Pookie. They're just sitting there looking at each other. I go by the border. Okay. They're not building no damn wall, you dumbass.
They may be looking at each other, but they're not looking at immigrants crossing like under Biden.
They're not. You know what? Let me tell you something. Yo, fucking fool. If you think that people's not crossing, they're still crossing. They're just not catching their asses.
You really believe that?
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
There's people coming through right now making TikToks laughing at their asses.
No, I don't. Listen, you don't have to lean left to know that the border is significantly more secure under Trump.
It's not secure, Tim. Go on a real debate. You know what? Go on, what's his name? Johnny. And tell Johnny he's a big debater, Democrat. He'll put you in your fucking place real quick. Because you're a stupid ass fool. You be running a platform and you got misinformation. Say, oh, the border's secure. No, it's not. It's the same. They didn't pass no legislation, no nothing. Biden tried on the day one to pass a bill to close down the border. And they said no. The Republicans did it twice already. And then right before he left, they tried to do it. Then Trump said, don't do it, because that's the only thing I have to run on.
So you're telling me by putting the military on the border, by putting concertina wire, building more of the wall.
The military was there. The military's been there, dumbass.
And he didn't put more military down there.
No.
He did not. I don't think you know what you're talking about.
He did. But Biden had military down there already. And then the Mexicans had military down there. He thought he did a big old thing. And the Mexicans laughed at him. He said 10,000 Mexican troops. They've been down there.
So the same amount of people that were sneaking in this country illegally under Biden are doing it under Trump.
Biden has more deportation than he do.
Well, yeah, Trump's only been in office for 8 months.
It doesn't matter. 20,000 less deportations. And you know what he did? Joe Biden did it the right way.
I gotta tell you, once Trump is successfully deported all the asylum seekers and the TPS people, he's going to surpass Biden's numbers pretty easy.
He's not doing shit. You know, I hope he croaks, honestly. I really fucking...
What?
Yeah, I'm not like you. I'm not a rowdy raccoon like you. I don't suck on a white man's cock and have cum coming out my fucking mouth like that. See, I'm not like you. You know what I mean? Because you really do want... You need approval of the white man. You a black man kissing ass to a white man, and you out here, you want approval. Oh, he's doing this because you're the big kiss ass to them all. Because you're always kissing ass to the white man. Don't you think you have some balls to say, you know what, this motherfucker don't like you? They don't like you, Tim. Your own homies, the ones one of your beloved maggots, that when they call you a boy, you laughed at them. When they call you they called you colored, you laughed at the shit. You think that shit's funny, but you're the punk at the end. I wish a bitch would call me the N word, and I bet you I wish it would call me.
First of all, the stuff you're talking,
I will beat the fuck out their asses.
people watch this show the stuff you're talking about virtually never happens.
It never happened. They disrespect you, dumb fuck. They degrade you, dumbass. You don't even push back. You're like a little Ponzi. You're like a little teacup chihuahua. Wee, wee, wee. And don't even do nothing. I'm like a damn. I would beat somebody's ass. I would drag them to the pits of hell. I'm not a nice Democrat. I'm a good person, but I'm fucking evil. And I would take them to the pits of fucking hell. You, on the other hand, you are the bitch. You, and I'm not saying you, I'm not calling you a bitch personally. I'm just saying you have bitch ass tendencies to move. Thank you, whoever did that. Whoever's giving me little coins. You know what I mean? You are the type of person that is like a ratty raccoon.
Okay, so I'm not. So let me make sure I get this correct. I'm not a bitch. I just have bitch-like tendencies.
Bitch ass tendencies. You be fluffing. Like you know what? Women see women, we like to suck on, I like to suck on to chocolate. You feel what I mean? I should be having chocolate protein. You love the uncooked protein that just drips in your mouth. I should be dripping from my mouth. But see, I can't even do all that because of you. You be doing the most.
No, I'm running a show, gangster. I can't talk to people.
You're saying a show. You should be saying fucking facts, like the border. That's not a fact that it's secure. No. It's not. It's not. Because you won't even name one policy. He did it. Okay? You won't. And then when they come back up here and they talk mad shit, oh yeah, it's good to have all these damn ICE agents and they're not coming after you and all that. You don't push back. You are a little Ponzi.
Well, we actually discuss everything you want. We're just not as you're just a bit more brash than we want to be. You're a bit more.
Because you know why? You know why? Because I stand up. I don't kiss ass. You will never see me kiss a white man's ass. I would 10 toes down. You know what? You want to say some false shit? Oh, bring me the fucking facts then. Show me fucking facts. No, you'll be like this. Oh, can I have some more of the uncooked protein dripping from my mouth?
I don't know where you're going with this.
I have chocolate protein. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm proud of it. I love me some BBC. You don't like that. You like the Vienna sausage uncooked shit.
You want me to wait a minute. You love you some BBC. You said I don't like that. You think I'm supposed to like BBC?
Well, you should like chocolate coochie or something. You should be doing something instead of going and say, well, you know what? I like the uncooked protein, but I want to be my master.
Oh my God!
Just getting the whips and stuff. I'll be a house ninja. That's all you do, because you be cupcaking with these motherfuckers. You don't push back hard enough, and you don't have to cuss it out of them like me, but you can push back harder. But you don't even do that. See, that's why you're scary. You're a scary ass ninja. Because you want to add me, and I could be your little sidekick. I will be the bad popo. You can be the nice popo. I'll be the bad popo. And I'll drag him to the pits of hell. I'll tell him, show me the proof or shut the fuck up.
All right.
Show me the damn proof or shut the fuck up.
Okay, I do got to move it on, but before I do, I want to ask you folks in the comments, by way of yes or no, how many of you would like to see me with her as a... Hold on, I want to ask it again. I want to ask it again. How many of you folks would like to see me with Gangsta Grandma as a sidekick on this show? I got to move it on, Gangsta Grandma. I got to move it on. Appreciate it. All right, tap the screen. By the way, yes or no, how many people would like to see Gangsta Grandma talking to my guest as a sidekick? Wow. And I see in the comments, Antonio Austin says she's cooking. Gangsta Grandma as a sidekick. I'm surprised that so many of you folks are saying yes. I don't... Wow. Unbelievable. I would watch it. Wow. I don't know what to do with that information. I'll see what I can do. I like to please the viewers. I see in my YouTube audience is more MAGA. I'm seeing comments like hell no, oh no, sir. She crying for a pipe down. Oh my God. It never says Kenny Williams. So I mean, listen, I got MAGA viewers. I got got liberals. Like I said, we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. So we get people out. We get people across the aisle. My TikTok viewers are mostly liberal, but a lot of my YouTube viewers lean right. And I don't know what I got on Instagram yet. We want Gangsta Grandma D-Fan on Instagram says, wow. This ain't We Want Easy, okay? This is not NWA's heyday. This is not We Want Easy. We want Gangsta Grandma. Well, then again, she kind of sounds like Easy. Anyway, looking in the comments, Ed G says, if you're on vacation and I break in your house, but it's nice, so I decide to move in, clean, maintenance, etc. I only broke the law once that was on my way in. Am I your tenant or will you have police deport me out of your house? I like how you're wording that. In other words, if somebody breaks in your country, because that's what you're comparing it to. If I break in your house, but it's nice, so I decide to move in. Okay, so America's nice. They decide to move in. You said, but once I'm in your house, I clean it and I do maintenance, etc. And the only crime I did was breaking in your home. That was the way I got in. Okay, so the only crime they committed was breaking in the country, entering the country illegally. You're saying if it was my house, would I have the police deport me out of your house? Well, absolutely in regards to the home, and the way you worded it is really well. I'll just say it this way. In regards to you only broke the law. Okay, am I your tenant? By the way, you can actually do that in some cities. Break into a vacant property and be a squatter, and you get to stay there, and the police can't do anything. You have to take the person to court and give them an eviction. So that absolutely does happen from that level. Here's the problem though, with your one thing you're missing, Edgy, and I believe you're missing this. And thank you for the super chat. You're missing one thing because of the way the Trump administration frames things. They frame a lot of folks in this country as if they entered the way your example portrays. They broke in the country, entered the country illegally, and they're trying to stay. Fact is, there's a whole lot of people, thousands, if not maybe over 1 million people that the Trump administration is referring to as an illegal immigrant that did not enter the country illegally. The TPS, temporary protected status, folks, if you come from Cuba and you step foot on American soil, our law allowed you to stay here with TPS status. Same thing coming from Haiti. Same thing with the asylum seekers. If you came to America and you approached a border agent or official and told them you wanted to seek asylum in America for whatever reason, you were allowed to stay until your court date came up. And then they would review your case or whatever. And if you didn't have a reason to stay, they would kick you out. But until your court case came up, you were here legally. President Trump is calling a lot of those folks, in fact, he's calling all of those folks illegal immigrants. They're not. They didn't break into the country. They didn't come here the way you painted. They came here using one of our legal methods to come here. President Trump became our commander-in-chief once again, changed the law, and suddenly made them fugitives. They weren't here illegally. So a lot of the people you guys are claiming that are illegal immigrants are not here illegally. It's that Trump changed the law and made them illegals. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and continue on the program. By the way, help your boy get out with the hat and mustache goal up there. Doesn't take much to do that. Shout out to those who help support the program. Den Cow, appreciate that. Thank you for your support as well. Speaking of which, asylum is a privilege, not a right, and there is a legal asylum process. Yes, that is true, R. But when you're here seeking asylum, you're not an illegal immigrant. I'm not arguing with your definition, but you're not an illegal. Trump called you. In fact, they were calling asylum seekers under Biden illegal immigrants. Dencal, yeah, appreciate that, Mike. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, so we're talking about what is the possibility now that Trump has actually deployed the National Guard into 4 American cities, starting with Los Angeles, going on to Washington, D.C., Portland, Oregon, and now Chicago. What are the chances that it's going to be other cities?
Oh, I mean, 100%. I mean, he's already got a list. Like this is just the beginning.
Why? What do you think? What would be the plan, or what would be the purpose of sending it into other cities?
I mean, partially it's intimidation. Um, it also has, yeah, it's got a big psychological effect on people.
Yeah.
When when you militarize their streets, like it makes them, be
So
afraid. Like he's
he's
going
beating them
around
into
telling
submission. He's
people,
beating them into
yeah,
submission.
yeah. He sat there in front of the whole, in front of all of those people in the Navy, and told them that the Democrats are their enemy and
Yeah.
they should be treated like a flea to be destroyed.
Mm.
Now, just imagine those people sitting there are all different, political backgrounds and beliefs and all of that stuff, and he's telling them the Democrats are that that gnat that's just that gnat that's just
Like
bothering them, and
I
they
think
need
I
to
heard
be.
one song refer to it as a gnat on a dog's dick. And by the way, folks, tap the screen. I need 25,000. A lot of lazy thumbs in here. Tap the screen, get the likes up. So when you're saying he's telling them that the Democrats are the enemy and things like that, look, MAGA, the right, conservatives, Republicans, they're huge fans of states' rights. Why are they not saying anything about this? Why are they okay with the president using the weight of the federal government to go into states and tell them how they should govern and behave?
Because they never really gave a shit about the states' rights. They use states' rights when it benefits them.
So they're
But
okay.
any other time, yeah, they don't give a shit about states' rights unless states' rights allow them to, keep slaves and shit like that. And, then they cool with states' rights. But whenever the states tells the federal government, hey, you can't just send, military and stuff in our state. Oh, fuck that. They need it.
Damn. Yeah, and I see one of the viewers in the comments said that too. Some cities need the National Guard. So then let me ask you,
Right.
because Trump has sent the National Guard. I pointed out the 4 cities so far. He's threatened Baltimore. He's threatened Memphis. But in addition to him sending the National Guard into a host of cities now, he sent them for different reasons. First in L.A., it was because they were rioting and he wanted to get the rioters. Appreciate that, DJ Sound. Thank you. First, he sent them in for the rioting in L.A., and it turned out to be one building or one little small few blocks or something. But when he went from L.A. to D.C., he went from sending in a National Guard for rioting purposes to now claiming it's to lower crime. So it's a totally different reason to deploy the National Guard. And in Portland, it's to back up ICE and immigration officials. So he sent the National Guard for 3 different reasons. Do you see him declaring anything else as an emergency where he needs to send a National Guard in? I mean, can you see something else coming up?
Well, he's at the point now where he's openly discussing, the Insurrection Act. He's created this idea that all of these cities are just people are just rioting and burning down shit, and these people that's on this app, like I just seen the guy saying, Dave Grego say he's an infantry veteran. He supports it 100%. They need law and order. Think about it. The crime in these cities is no more than they were like last year, the times when Trump was in office, and decades ago. To say that these cities are out of control when he creates the atmosphere by putting military in the streets, and then when people protest or push back against them, then he says they're violent cities. He's creating his own ideal in these people's heads that people are just roving. He said that, the people are just roving, gangs of youth are just roving the streets and
Well,
these people
I'm sure I'm sure you heard this right here.
Disaster for the people. So we want to have it fixed so it works. We're going to look at that. It was amazing. Portland is burning to the ground. It's insurrectionists all over the place.
Why do people let them get away with stuff like that? Everybody knows Portland is not burning to the ground. Now, we've been talking about this on shows, but the reason I'm playing it again is because when are we going to be hearing that Chicago's burning to the ground or that children are being trafficked in Milwaukee or something like that? I mean, if he can make up events and then deploy the National Guard based on a fictional event, where does it end?
It doesn't. It ends when there is no ending to it. This man has a revolving cycle of grievance and using these key words like law and order and burning to the ground, and then they got, they stopped like allowing a lot of the TikTok videos from Portland to get exposure, because it was people in Portland saying
Peaceful? Wait. You're telling me people went to Portland to show that it's peaceful there, and they took down the peaceful videos?
yes, they are. What do they call that when they scale back the reach of your videos?
Censorship, shadow banning.
Yeah, shadow banning. Yes, they are stopping people from seeing that because it goes against the narrative that Trump just said is burning down. They used, I think it was last week, they used some video from like back when
The
it was
summer
like
of love,
jazz
during the
and
summer
shit.
of love. Yeah, it was during the summer of love.
Yeah, and use that to make it seem like that's going on right now.
So if they're doing that, and I see in the comments, Real Talk is claiming that you're lying, but if what you're saying is true, then that would mean that TikTok is working on behalf of the Trump administration. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and now that the TikTok platform or whatever is about to replace it will be from a deal negotiated by Trump, is it safe to assume that the new TikTok is going to be pro-Trump?
All social media and media and entertainment is about to be like they got Google. They look, name any platform basically right now. They got CNN. They got all of this shit now. TikTok is the crown jewel, but they already got X. They got Google, which is the search engines. And they even said the other day on the news channel, I think it was CBS, they said they brought in new leadership, and now they want to make sure that they have perspective from both sides of the aisle.
So what are we headed toward? Like state TV or some shit?
Yeah, they've already did that with the big beautiful bill when they defunded PBS, and now they're using what's her name, the woman that's the Department of Education.
You're talking about McMahon or Vince McMahon's wife or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, Linda McMahon. Now she's doing a partnership with PragerU.
Oh my God. That's definitely conservative education right there.
That is propaganda at its height.
Yeah.
I mean, they was
conservative
on there,
propaganda.
Yeah, they was on there acting like they got cartoons, which is the scary part because they're pushing it on children, saying that slavery wasn't that bad and that everybody that the Indians were like having fun with the with the pilgrims.
They're putting your head on a fucking stake. What do you mean you having fun? Wow.
Yeah, and they partnered up with PragerU, which PragerU is has the religious background, so they're pushing all of this this false.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the right along with President Trump has been complaining about fake news and biased media for forever. Do you believe that they would actually be okay with biased media and fake news as long as it's pro-Trump?
Oh yes. I got a friend that I served with many years in the military, and I talk to him quite often. Like, we don't agree on anything, but I just want to kind of understand the thought process that goes into people who kind of feel like this. And he's like, yeah, he agrees with all of this shit. Like, he's like, matter of fact, the other day he said, maybe we should just like split the country in half. And this is a guy who used to be a military officer.
Why? Why would anyone want that?
Because he thinks the Democrats are just lunatic leftists and everything is about LGBTQ and trans, and we're trying to force it on him. And like, it's amazing.
I guess I'm curious. How do you force LGBTQ or transgender issues on a grown ass man? How do you force that on them?
He says they're forcing it on the children. But I said, listen, the times we have conversation, you are the only one who bringing up dicks and shit. He keeps on talking about, Johnny's cutting his junk off and stuff. Like, dude, stop saying that as if that's something that I'm pushing on to you. You keep on bringing this shit up as if you got some type of fetish. Like I said, do you have a problem with circumcisions too? Like, do you dream about that shit? Like, what's going on in your mind that you think this whole experiment of the United States is worth giving up as long as you get rid of the trans people? Like, I don't even get it.
Let me let you know one phrase to be really on the lookout for, because if he says this, it might be somebody in disguise. Uncooked protein. If you hear somebody refer to it as uncooked, be on the listen out for that phrase and let me know if he says uncooked protein, because I've never heard that so much until recent.
His thing is the junk. His thing is Johnny and his junk. And Johnny and his junk.
Oh,
you guys think it's okay for Johnny to cut off his junk? And like, I don't got nothing to do with Johnny and his junk.
Oh my God. So we'll move on from Johnny and his junk. I want you now. You've probably heard about this in Dearborn, Michigan, where they're praying, but they're announcing it early. How do you feel with something like that playing in your neighborhood to announce to the Muslim? It's coming in your house. They can hear this for over a quarter mile away. The churches are playing this to announce to the residents it's time to pray. Folks in Dearborn, Michigan are pissed off about this, and it's making national news. I don't know why, but
I just got back from there yesterday. I didn't hear nothing about that.
Well, maybe you didn't hear. Maybe it wasn't time for them to pray. How long were you there?
I was there from Thursday to Monday.
Oh, in Dearborn, Michigan?
Well, where I'm at most of the time is right outside of Dearborn, and I have to drive through it consistently to get back and forth from the city to the airport and stuff like that. So I'm around it quite a bit. Look, that's their town. They bought it. They do, like, all of the shops and everything. Like, you welcome to come there and, visit the stuff, but like, they have their own fucking city.
This is America, though.
Yeah, it is. It's America, where you have the right to practice your religion the way you see fit, as long as you don't harm anybody else.
Yeah, but if I gotta work in the morning and I'm laying in bed trying to get some sleep.
Well, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's like,
well, they claim this is permeating their house and everything.
That right there is off of like Michigan Avenue. That's right by the big mosque in the area. You can't hear that shit all across the whole damn city, where everybody in their fucking house is like, it may be something like, how usually on every Sunday they used to do the alarm, test the alarm for the.
But that's preparing for an emergency, not prayer.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to give you a context to like.
That thing is loud. I got one of those near my house. When that siren, this is, we got one that's on like a big ass light pole or whatever that spins around, and we're testing the system. You can hear that thing for a long ways away.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Nobody misses sleep, or nobody like is doing. I'm not saying, look, I agree with it or not. I'm just saying, why we always try to categorize people when they do stuff that supports their religion, but we don't when it comes to Christianity. Like, they pushing it through trying to push it through every fucking school and every child. We talking about one city in the United States and we throwing our hands up, but they got states all across the country now that's teaching our kids a different religion from what their family practices.
Yeah. Well, some are going to say we were founded on Judo-Christianity or whatever the case may be. So that's why
they can call it what they want to. We was not founded on any religion. We broke away from the Church of England on purpose because we didn't want any monarchies or kingdoms, or We didn't want that to be what governs all of these people, because we were always going to be a melting pot.
Yeah.
So we can't go back to, well, we just want to make it so it's just Christian stuff we can indoctrinate the whole damn society with, but any other religion, they got to do that shit in their own house.
Do you see that as something that maybe the right or the Trump administration is trying to do? Is take us in that direction, down a far right religious path?
Oh yeah, we just about there. Like we got states that have literally purchased Bibles from the president and are teaching. And the worst part about it is it's got the Constitution in there, but it's missing all of the amendments that gave us the freedoms that we enjoy. So
I'm assuming that was done. I'm assuming the amendments were taken out accidentally. I don't think. I'm assuming they don't think they're not trying to take away our amendments, are they? Accidentally, right?
Listen, there is no mistakes when you're dealing with the amendment, the Bible. Those things are supposed to be sacrosanct. Why would somebody appreciate it if I put out a constitution and it was missing the Second Amendment? Would somebody just be like, that's not a big deal, you know what I'm saying? That it's missing the amendment that I like the most, or the one that protects me.
So in so many words, we're fucking in trouble based on what you said. I got to move on, then, Cal. Last but not least, letter grade so far, A, B, C, D, or F, Trump's first 8 months. What say you?
I'd give him a good Z minus.
What the fuck is a Z? A, B, C, D, or F?
You're using the alphabets, bro. I'm going all the way to the last one and giving them a minus behind that, a Z minus.
But a Z is at the top. So, okay, so you want to go beyond an F.
Yes. All the way to the end.
Oh my God. A Z.
Hey, man, listen, I know you got to go, but listen. We had them having discussions, more Pete Hegseth discussions, that they found somebody doing texting on Signal, talking about using the 82nd Airborne in American cities. The 82nd Airborne, their only job is to seek and destroy in the military. They don't do crowd control. They don't do, residential arrests and warrants. To have that conversation, and then for it to get out that they were having conversations with Pete Hegseth, tells you all you need to know. We tried to like smooth it out a little bit and be like, nah, he wouldn't go after like black people and stuff like that. He's just doing it. They went in that apartment complex and snatched up everybody, separated between black people and the Hispanic people. Hispanics, immigration, black people, checking to see if anybody got warrants. That's fucking illegal.
Can we get out of this by any other means other than civil war?
Yes, we can. Our best chance right now is probably the midterms. I don't think, this is a resilient country. I don't think we too far.
Wait, hold on. Alter Ego, who's a friend of the program, is pushing back hard. He says, I was 82nd and a carpenter in the Army. Stop lying. He's saying that you're not being honest about that.
What part am I lying about?
I guess he's trying to suggest that the 82nd Airborne is not about destruction or something. I just saw his comment.
The Airborne. What do you think? What do you think they?
I just saw his comment and figured I'd talk about it.
So I guess they talking about the president and Hegseth was talking about sending a bunch of carpenters into American cities, huh? Is that what he's saying?
Well, Jesus was a carpenter, so I don't know. He says you're lying that the 82nd is only seek and destroy. He said that you're lying about that.
Well, yeah, you can call it what you want to. They're infantry. They fucking go to kill people. They don't go like whatever he's trying to insinuate, which I don't understand. What is it? His counter is that they sending like medics or something? Like, what is he trying to say? that they're gonna send the 82nd Airborne into American City to do, other than to wreak havoc? Let me use a different word then. Maybe not seek and destroy. Maybe, create chaos and kill people.
I don't see any reason to send active duty military into any American city for anything positive whatsoever. But Cal, I appreciate you coming on.
All right, take care.
Thank you. And by the way, folks, tap the screen. There's a hell of a lot of lazy thumbs in here. Is the program that bad today? Did the content fall off that much? Cal, go ahead and drop. For some reason, it's doing it again what it did yesterday. It's not letting me drop the user because until I do that, I can't move on with the show. Okay, there we go. Real quick though, tap the screen, get your guy on up to about, we should have been way at 40, 50 by now. You guys are lazy on the thumbs in here. We're talking about deploying the National Guard, taking control of American cities. I don't know about the 82nd Airborne. I'm not military. I'm not going to claim stolen valor or anything like that. My last caller was military, but I will, or is military, whatever the case may be. And by the way, thank you for the hat, Mike. Appreciate it. But I do want to ask, with President Trump deploying the National Guard so often, so quickly, because he's only been in office 8 months and he's deployed the National Guard to 4 American cities already for 3 different reasons. 3 different reasons already. To back up ICE, to squelch rioting, and to lower crime in American cities. And he's not going by any standard. In other words, Chicago and DC are not like the most violent and the second most violent city. They're down on the list. They're down for, so literally it's showing that he can deem any city as high crime and start there. I mean, if he decides, well, Cincinnati has too much crime, we're going to deploy the National Guard to Cincinnati and skip over New York or LA, which may have more crime, he can do that. Apparently, that's what we're seeing. Because I'm just going to pick and choose what city I want to go into. I'm going to give you my humble opinion on this. It has nothing to do with I don't know why my clock is going off here, but I don't believe it has anything to do with lowering crime. Now, lowering crime by deploying the National Guard may be a side effect of doing it. I mean, you put a bunch of military on the streets, it's going to intimidate folks and people may not act up. But I don't believe the deployment of the National Guard is about lowering crime. I kind of think it's like what my last caller said, intimidation and scaring the shit out of people. And I say this because he's only deploying the National Guard to liberal cities in liberal states. If you're in a Republican state, it doesn't matter how violent your cities are. You're not going to have to deal with this. You're not going to have to deal with this. Certainly not by force. Now, if the Republican governor of Tennessee says, send me some National Guard, I got a rogue liberal city like Memphis. I don't know if Nashville's Memphis or not. Nashville is liberal or not, but Nashville has its own share of violence as well. But the mayor or the government of Memphis is liberal. So if the Republican governor of Tennessee says, we're going to go ahead and activate our National Guard, or Mr. President, we want your help to curtail the violence in our liberal city of Memphis, then it might happen. But if you're in a Republican state, a state that's governed by Republicans, there is zero chance that Trump is going to force the military in your state, no matter how violent your city may be. It does not matter. You do not have to worry about it. It's only for liberal states, liberal cities in liberal states. And if you do have a violent city, and the mayor is Republican, then you don't have to worry about it no more. It goes away. So lowering crime is a side effect of what he's doing, but it's not the reason. The reason is to stick it to the liberals, show them I can do whatever the fuck I want to do, irrespective of what you think the law or constitution may be. And that's what it's about. That is all it's about. Because Chicago, or better yet, DC or Portland, it should never have started there. I mean, certainly the perception of rioting in Los Angeles was so minuscule. It was just done to show Gavin Newsom he can fuck off. I'm going to do what I want to do. Same thing that's happening in Illinois. Same thing that's happening in Portland with Antifa. And by the way, what's also frightening is that not only can he deem virtually anything an emergency, 10 people out protesting, talking. Remember I'll go ahead and go to the box shortly, but tap the screen, get us up to 40. I'll take the next caller at 40. We had some Black Lives Matter protesters some years ago walking down the street chanting pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Only a few people. It wasn't like it was hundreds of them. A few people. But they were walking down the street with this anti-cop slogan. And the right has been echoing that ever since. This has been years ago. The right has been echoing that comment ever since, blaming it on all of Black Lives Matter. The reason I'm bringing this up is just like with Antifa, based on that, there's nothing stopping him from deeming Black Lives Matter as a terrorist outfit. Now, you've seen what happened once we deemed Trinidad Agua as a member of terrorism. Well, now they're blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela. What would stop him if he deemed Black Lives Matter, or let's say he's already deemed Antifa as a member? What would stop him from blowing up one of their cars if they're driving down the street? Driving down Main Street in the middle of some major American city. We've got them out in an open highway somewhere where nobody's around. We got 4 Antifa members in the car. We blew it up. What would stop him from doing that? Now, I want to say something. I want to get ahead of the commentary because I know we're going to go in this direction. Liberal fear mongering. A lot of stuff you guys are saying the right may do, actions the right may take, are liberal fear mongering. I want to submit to you, we are currently in a place right now, October 2025, that if you were to go back 1 year in time, jump in your own personal DeLorean, sitting next to Michael J. Fox, and go back 1 year from today and describe what is taking place right now to MAGA 1 year ago today, they would have told you you were liberal fear mongering. You were a liberal fear mongering. There's no way we're not going to know what's on the Epstein files. There's no way Ghislaine Maxwell would ever be put in minimum security without any explanation. There's no way there would be tanks and Humvees or whatever the hell they're dispatching to American cities. And there was no way that shit would be happening. There is no way I'm ever going to believe that Trump would do that. Trump's job is to make America great again. There's no way I would ever believe in hell that he's going to have a Black Hawk floating over an apartment building in an American city with people rappelling out of the helicopter to effect an arrest. There's no way in hell I'm going to ever believe he would do that. It would be liberal fear mongering if you told that to MAGA 1 year ago today. So I just want to bring that up because things that are being predicted now are still being referred to as liberal fear mongering. No matter how much this stuff happens, they keep saying it's liberal fear mongering. I mean, I guess until it actually happens and it's right up on us. But I mean, there's a lot going on right now that the right would have never believed was going to take place. I'm assuming using tariffs as a weapon. No way in the hell he's going to do something like that and fuck up the economy. No way he would do that. Mike, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Honestly, me and my wife was thinking about stopping the trucking business and going back to the medical field. Well, with the tariffs and the economy, I mean, you know, in the medical field, Franklin, people are always going to get hurt. That's one job you don't have to worry about. You can't stop humans from dying and getting sick. So I'm assuming, because I was in the trucking business. I was an over-the-road driver, and I can tell you during the pandemic, all of the freight dried up, and that's why I got out of the over-the-road business. The medical business is always going to be jumping. Mike, good evening.
What up, Tim? Hey, tap the screen, share the live. Let's get Tim up to at least 50K while I'm on here. I mean, shit, if y'all want me off of here, just tap the screen to 50K. I'll drop. That's easy enough.
You go get it. You might reach 50K more sooner than you want saying that.
No shit. What's up, man? I've been listening to what you're saying, and yeah, a year ago, you would have told me I was lying.
Yep. Because I don't see everything about Trump as a monster, and I do believe there is some liberal fear mongering. You are correct. If somebody had told me personally on the show what was going to be happening in 2025, I would have accused that liberal, even though I lean left myself, as fear mongering. You're right. I would have done that.
Well, that was me. That's what you were saying to me.
You didn't predict all this shit.
Tim, let me tell what did I not predict?
Helicopters being
I know it's been a while.
Rappelling from a helicopter onto a city, onto a building in a U.S. city.
Fair enough. I didn't predict the helicopter, but again, let me be clear. It wasn't my prediction. I just read Project 2025. I just did some research. That's all. I mean, I did listen. I don't want anybody to think that I'm like Miss Cleo and shit. You know, I don't have those powers. All I did was read.
Yeah.
All I did was read.
Well,
Everything that we're talking about, Tim, is in Project 2025. Now, the way they're going about it may not be outlined to this degree with the Black Hawk, but what they want to accomplish, 100%.
well, the problem is obviously MAGA and the Republican Party, but even MAGA and the Republican Party, a good amount of independents and even some liberals did not believe Project 2025 was something that was really going to happen.
Well, they didn't believe it was going. Well, first of all, you're right. Some didn't believe that it existed. Some said it was fear mongering. Some said it did exist, but it's just a think tank, and they're not gonna all this shit. And all I've ever said, and I'm gonna say it until I can't say it anymore. If I look at what they want to do and the people that want to do it, if I can put those two together, meaning they're showing me that they're capable of it. Their rhetoric shows me that they lean towards it, that they believe in that ideology. Why would they not do it? You would have had to convince me, why would he not do it? Not why are they doing it? Why would they not do it?
Well,
we're seeing crazy shit. Pam Bondi today at the House, at the oversight hearing today, these motherfuckers losing their mind.
Explain. What do you mean?
Well, the way that she was going back and forth with the senators and trying to, and all of this ideology, all of this propaganda, cities are on fire and all of these criminals. And I'm telling you, I told you before that Enemy Aliens Act and the Insurrection Act was right behind it.
Yeah.
Like fucking the idea that people are still ignoring it and they're saying he's the best friend. It just,
Here's what I don't get. Here's what I don't get, Mike. I still get MAGA occasionally on the show saying this in regards to January 6th. They still adamantly believe that on January 6th, Trump could not deploy the National Guard and it had to be Nancy Pelosi. Despite what is happening now with him showing the ease of doing it, they still believe that. Why is that?
They can't move off of it because it's their whole. Listen, they've swallowed the. Listen, it's like a snake. A snake's not gonna spit up pieces of what it ate. It has to spit the whole thing up. They literally will have to spit all of it up if they agree to one element like that, because it destroys the whole narrative. Because if he could have deployed him and he didn't, like we know, he could have and he didn't, your whole argument about J6 goes out the fucking window. Nothing else connects. What that says is he sat there and watched it happen, which means he intended for it to happen, which means the election wasn't stolen, which means he's been lying. They have to deconstruct all of that shit.
So you actually believe Trump wanted January 6th to go down the way it did?
Yes. And again, Tim, like I said, I just said it think about this. If anybody wants to push back, if you walk through the actions, you walk through what he said, you walk through what the people around him said, you walk through what happened, and you walk through the indictments, all that shit connects. I can't disconnect that shit. I can't look at it and go, well, even though this all lines up, he never meant for it to happen. It all lines up. If you read, it does, but they don't want to look at all the pieces. They just want to go, this was true and this bullshit and that bullshit. But look at his actions. Does he look like a man that holds integrity? Like, honestly, Tim, let's be honest. Let's be honest. If Trump came up to you and said, Tim, I want to do this for you, that for you, based on his knowledge, how much credence would you give him?
The man is charming. I mean, because like I said, I've been to a couple of rallies and he said some shit, and I stood up and applauded, and he pointed at me and winked. I always give this story about how I felt it. I mean, when Trump pointed at me and winked at his rally, it does make you feel some kind of way, but I can't argue with you. I mean, I've caught him in so many lies, but it's just like, I don't want to go the cult route, but let's say for a woman that really likes her husband or likes her boyfriend or whatever, even though she's caught him in so many lies, he can lie to her and she'll still believe it, or it's just a hope because you just want to believe.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but let me tell you this. You say he's charming. That's the same thing that Ted Bundy's victims, the ones that said.
Oh.
That's the same thing that people said about Jim Jones. That's the same thing people said about David Koresh. It's the same things that people say about Pete because because he might be Trump, the BTK killer. You remember him?
Yeah, Bill, bind, torture, and kill. Yeah, bind, torture, kill.
He was in the Boy Scouts. He was a Ranger. He was all the things, but privately he was killing people.
Yeah,
families
for years.
So none of that shit matters. This is what I've been telling you about. I'll continue to say it. You can say he's charming, but what are the results of him charming people?
Dishonesty and lies.
Results of his actions.
Yeah, dishonesty and lies.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe if he walked up to you and said he was trying to do something for you. You might shake your head, nod, and laugh in his face or smile. But you're not going to walk away from any credence like he's really trying to truly help you.
Well, let me say, I don't know if I agree with that. Let me say it this way: if President Trump, because for somebody like me or you, Trump can do something that is virtually nothing to him and make a huge difference in our life. So it's not like he's saying, I want to give universal health care or something like that. If he simply said, young man, I'm going to make sure you got a job by tomorrow, I would believe that because that's something he could snap his fingers and do. Now, universal health care or in the Ukraine-Iraq war or Russian war, that's something different. But he can make for the individual, he can make a lot happen pretty easy.
But do you think he cares? Do you think that there aren't strings attached to that job? Do you think that his intent is to do right by you or use you as a prop to get other people to believe that he cares and then turn around and pull the rug from under you like this big, beautiful bill? See, this is the thing, because that's what he did.
Well, in fairness to President Trump, most politicians who do stuff for other people have some kind of strings attached. Hell, they say even Martin Luther King and some of those folks in Lyndon Johnson that did things for black people had strings attached. I'm just going to simply say if I'm in need and you help me out, even if there's strings attached or you're doing it to make yourself look good or get credit, if it helps me out in the end, I'm going to give you credit for doing it.
What did your mom used to tell you about taking things from certain people? I'm asking you, you and I never had this conversation. I'm asking you, what did your mom say about taking certain things from certain people?
All money ain't good money. I'll sum it up by saying that.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right. All money ain't good money, and there's a reason for that. Don't be trying to kick me out, alter ego. Come on, bro. All I'm saying is this. This administration has one agenda, and we know what it is, and they don't care who they're going to harm. They don't care who they're going to hurt. And they're going to hurt white people just as well, and white people that voted for him, and white people that still support him. This big, beautiful bill. When you got Marjorie Greene Taylor saying, did you talk about that today?
I'm watching her on News Nation talking about stuff. No, I haven't talked about it. I have not covered
Marjorie Greene Taylor, who I don't give
MT, you got the last two names mixed up. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm
sorry, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is siding with the Democrats on this shutdown.
Really? I think MTG is on her way to becoming a rhino. She's talking too much.
Well, whatever she's going to be, but here's the thing. And I didn't hear this. I heard somebody told me, so I got to look it up. Apparently, this medical increase is going to impact her children.
Wow, her personally.
That's what I haven't verified, but that's what I heard this morning. But I know it's going to impact her constituents. You heard Mark Kelly talking on Fox now that Trump's mad at Fox for having Mark Kelly on, because that shit that Mark Kelly said was real.
Yeah, he took the social media, and why the hell you guys got this guy on here? Yeah, he went after them immediately. I think the thing Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing is something that most Republican Congress representatives and senators know, is that what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying is going to happen, all the rest of them know their constituents are going to be affected negatively by it as well. She's just bold enough to speak up.
Well, you know what? Well, and I'm glad she is. And people are verifying in the comments that she actually posted and said that, right? So about her kids' child care going up. Mark Kelly said he's got 109,000 people in Arizona that they're paying $600 in a premium now, and it's going to go up to $4,000.
Damn. But let me ask you
That's
this:
what
in
Mark
terms
Kelly said.
of gaining political capital, why don't the Democrats just let the government open up? And when that happens, it's pretty obvious who's at fault.
Well, first of all, let's be clear. I want all 165 people in here. They don't need the Democrats to open up the government.
The nuclear option.
They just used the nuclear option 3 weeks ago to confirm all of those ambassadors that Trump wanted. They used the nuclear option to do that shit. They just used it.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden they can't use it now? People, pay attention. You Trump supporters or you people, wake the fuck up. They just used the nuclear option 3 weeks ago. And they're telling you it's on the Democrats. Ask them why they can't use it now. The answer will be they can. But the problem is nobody looks past the nose in front of them or the 40 to 50 feet and their home in their neighborhood. They can use a nuclear option and bypass the Democrats. But they want to put it on the Democrats because they know that their constituents, MAGA's just going to go, yeah, we can just do it. They just don't want to.
So what you're saying is,
they can use the nuclear option. They just used it.
so what you're saying is the Republican Party, even though they could open the country up, they literally they favor division. They favor keeping it closed.
Tim, you got to remember, the cuts in the big beautiful bill is what they use to give these damn tax cuts. So if they give the money back to the medical to healthcare, where do they come up with the money?
Wow.
But see, this is what I said when they wanted to raise the debt ceiling. I'm like, look, you guys got to. They're taking money from about to put 20 million people or something like that off of medical to pay to get rich for. We said this shit 6 months ago.
Yeah, I do recall us talking about that. I do recall it happening. Well, I mean,
hey, listen, Tim. At the end of the day, you know all the adages. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. All that shit. My problem is this, and I care about all people. That's just me. I know some people on here don't think it, but it's passion. Because when you watch somebody doing some shit, like they're walking out into the middle of the street, you know what I mean? You see somebody walking in the middle of the street, if something's wrong with you, if you don't have anything in you that want to help them or hope nothing.
I think, you know something, Mike, I think the problem is the right is convinced that the Democrats are trying to fuck the country up so bad that they're willing to put up with a few indiscretions by Trump, okay? Even if it means their healthcare costs going up or whatever. I would rather not have, this is the way I view the mindset. I would rather either be forced to pay more for healthcare or maybe healthcare not even be available to me than to know tax money is going to cover illegal immigrants being, given healthcare coverage. I would rather lose it myself than to know they got it. I believe that's the mindset.
I believe I believe that what you said is true, but I think it holds true with a very small number. I believe if you would have if Trump's supporters would have known, hey, just understand, at the end of this year, your premium is going to go from $500 to $2,500. They would have said, fuck the Mexicans. Let them motherfuckers do whatever they want. Because that's a month, Tim. That's not one payment. That's a month.
5 times increasing fivefold?
Now you tell me, I don't give a fuck what the agenda was. They wouldn't accept that, but they didn't either believe it or do the research. I don't believe, listen, as somebody just said in the comments, I was getting ready to go there and you said it. The average person can't afford Cobra, and Cobra is not that goddamn expensive.
No. Right? No, the average person, the average. I mean, because the problem is when you're being demanded to pay Cobra, you're usually unemployed, so you really are hurting for cash. That's usually right after you lose a job.
Right. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this to Jerry in the comments. You said my insurance won't go up. Here's the part you got to be careful about, Jerry. If people aren't insured, they'll go to the emergency room. The emergency room costs go up, which means yours will eventually go up. See how that works? Because see, people aren't thinking about this because you think the hospital's going to eat that cost? Do you think the hospitals are going to continue to eat that cost, or do you think your co-payment's going to go up? Yeah. Or do you think you goddamn right it's going to go up? But see, people are only, I just said it, Tim, they're only thinking about their square footage. Yeah. They're not thinking about the whole community. They're only thinking about their square footage. And you think, well, that's not going to hit me. Well, yeah, it's flooding over there, but shit's going to happen over here. And as long as we only think about ourselves as individuals and who gives a fuck how those people are victimized and dehumanized, it ain't happening to me until it happens to me. Then you're gonna want sympathy.
Yeah, but that's the farmers is a good example of that. But I mean, that is the mindset of pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. Is that I got mad, you need to figure out a way to get yours. I mean, you're right. People, right? The way we're doing this is Americans do not care about the welfare of their fellow American. They don't care. I figured it out. You need to figure it out.
And that's crazy because it goes against the Constitution. It goes even the furthest MAGA says they care about the country. In America, the people furthest to the right say they care about the institution of the country, but they don't. Because if you care, because the people come first.
Everybody cares as long as the country is operating in the manner they deem fit. Though, and the minute the country start being operated in a direction they don't like, then they don't care.
And listen, I'm gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna go because I'm well past my 50K.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Tim.
Thank
but
you.
Listen, here's what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna land my plane here. I gave the analogy yesterday, and I'm gonna say it again. If Tim, if I was your neighbor and your kids were playing in the street and I'm outside and you're inside and a car's coming and your daughter gets hit and you saw me stand there and watch it, even though it's not my responsibility, you would feel different about it.
Yeah,
because you would be like, why the fuck didn't you do something? And so that's what I'm saying to this country. You sit back and applaud Trump and you ignore what's happening. But the minute it happens to you, you're looking for him. Look at the farmers.
Yeah.
Most of the motherfuckers voted for him.
Yeah.
Now they're begging him to help them with the situation he created for them.
I think he's going to do that, though, Mike. I'll go ahead and move it on, but I think he's actually going to do that for them. Trump is known for rewarding those who look out for him. So
he's not stop it before you let me go. Stop with the rewarding shit, Tim. He's giving them their money back.
Okay.
And he didn't have to do it, and he's playing fucking jacks, and the rest of the world's playing chess. China not buying no more soybeans from us.
He's playing jacks.
Hey man, listen, Tim. I feel bad. I'm not happy for the farmers because you know what? That shit's gonna affect our communities.
Yep. Price of food and everything. Price of food and everything. And plus they're gonna lose their rural hospitals. Now you got to drive into the cities that you demonize. Yeah, not a good path going forward. Mike,
Nope.
Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
Anytime. All right, moving on with the program. Second time he did the farmers like that, says Fertigray. Well, Trump is gung-ho on imposing tariffs. I mean, Trump is gung-ho on getting immigrants out of the country. Those are two things that are going to instantly affect the farmers. Imposing tariffs on countries that they deal with and getting rid of their workforce. Also, getting rid of USAID, which is something that MAGA is overwhelmingly supportive of. That hurt the farmers. A lot of that food that we were sending to those poor nations that Trump stopped doing was being produced by the farmers. So the farmers were producing rice and shit to go to these poor nations. Now, our government was paying for that stuff to go over there, but the money that they were paying for was going to U.S. farmers. So give us this, you give us so much of this crop, we'll bag it up and send it over to Africa or wherever the hell it was going. But the farmer was making money from that. So by getting rid of USAID, you didn't just hurt the people overseas, you hurt the people that were supplying the goods that was going overseas. And the suppliers were American. That absolutely has happened. That has absolutely happened. So USA throws out most of the food. We can talk about where the food's going, but the fact is the farmers were making money off of providing that stuff. So Yeah, he's hurt the farmers from numerous different angles. The counter, if I'm using the right term, the counter tariffs that the reciprocal, that's what I'm looking for, the reciprocal tariffs that these other nations imposed on America as a pushback for what Trump is doing. Well, that pushback that they're doing straight to the farmers. The farmers are the ones that felt the pain from that. So yeah, the farmers are reeling, and as my last caller rightfully pointed out, farmers and Republicans go together like cereal and milk. That is a large MAGA, large Republican base in the farming community. They literally voted for this. In fact, I seen a farmer on TikTok giving a sob story about how bad things are. And he even asked, I think it was a he even asked, please don't send the hate stuff. I know I fucked up. Similar, he didn't say these words exactly, but I'm paraphrasing, but something to the nature of, I know I fucked up. You don't have to tell me, just getting his story out. But he was admitting, I know I don't voted for something that is against my own best interest. And he was begging folks not to throw the hate at him. The black farmers aren't asking for handouts. No, the black farmers, Kareem, are not asking for handouts because they don't normally get them. The black farmers have had to make do from day one, so it's not hurting the black farmers as much because they're not used to getting the handouts anyway. Do you know a diesel engine will run on any liquid that burns? Okay, I don't know what the relevance is. Farmers go have a choice. Ask me how I know. I'll give you a hint. I'm sitting on my 98 acre right now. What do you mean by farmers go have a choice? Explain that, R. I don't get what you mean by that. You're saying farmers have no choice in the matter, and somebody said they do have a choice. And farmers make the corn for the girl. Okay, no clue. Make America great. Durr. Meanwhile, in the worst shape it's been for in decades. Tap the screen. Somebody said the America's currently in the worst shape it's been in decades. I'll ask this question. When do we get to the making America great part? When Trump took office, the notion was we're sending too much money overseas. USAID, help to the Ukraine. We're taking care of too much shit overseas. We're giving illegal immigrants health care, which is disputed. I don't believe it's happening, but we're providing health care to illegal immigrants, putting them up in 4-star hotels and giving them phones and all this other crazy shit that was being tossed around. I don't want to do that either at the taxpayer's expense. We want to get these immigrants out and stop them from living on the dome. We want to stop sending money overseas and focus on Americans first. Okay? We've done a lot of that. So the question, when do we get to actually taking care of Americans? Has anybody seen anything that has increased now that we saved a fortune from Doge? I think Elon was claiming we saved somewhere near $1 trillion in waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay, so now that we've saved a ton of money, when do we get to the part where Americans are benefiting from it? Because you're still paying the same, if not more, for the cost of goods and services. You're still working at the same job. Your salary ain't went up. No. When do we get to taking care of Americans first? Minimum wage is not increasing. You're not getting savings on your health care cost or anything like that. It just comes across as if President Trump, who is incredibly wealthy, and members of his administration who are also incredibly wealthy, saved this country a fortune and the money disappeared. I mean, Elon Musk, who is worth infinite wealth, saved America $1 trillion and nobody saw any of it. Saved all of this money and it just disappeared. The American citizens, the American population are not living any better financially than they were living before the money was saved. When do we get to the part about making America great? I want to know that from you folks. Looking in the comments, anyone remember life before social media? That was great. There's good and bad to that alter ego. Life before social media meant we went outside and actually interacted with each other more. That's the good part. But also, I can now ask Alexa any damn thing, and Alexa, stop. But I can ask my device anything and get answers immediately. Whereas before social media, you had to go to your local library or you had to own an encyclopedia or something like that. So the amount of knowledge available at a fingertip is significantly greater in the era of the internet and social media. So there's pros and cons. I mean, if your grandma lived across the country, you could pick up a phone and make an expensive phone call that usually they charged you per minute to make a long distance call back in the 80s and early 90s. So you didn't call grandma that much. You can talk to her as much as you want if she lives in a different city now. FaceTime, Facebook or whatever you want. So there are pros and cons to it. There are pros and cons to it. I mean, obviously you can learn how to build a bomb, which may not be a good thing. But at the same time, you can learn how to diagnose illnesses and things like that. I mean, there's pros and cons. Anyway, looking in the comments, that's not social media, Tim. That's the internet. Oh, it's all kind of connected, though. I go back to the dawn of the internet. I would go to hotel rooms, pull a phone out the wall, plug it into my 33 baud modem before the 56K. And even then, there was social media. They called them bulletin boards. Social media is actually as old as the internet itself is. It was just a bunch of nerds and geeks on there. But I was on social media. In fact, and this is way off topic. I'll get back on the topic. But in fact, I don't know if you folks remember the old TRS-80 computer, 64K computer sold at Radio Shack. Basically, the competition to the Commodore 64 and the VIC-20. I was on bulletin boards, social media with those things. So social media has been around actually before the internet. Because you would take your handset from your phone, put it in two cups that would hear the rushing sound, and that was a modem. I think it was around 9600 baud back then. The internet did not exist yet. And you had social media already. So social media actually goes back before the internet. It just wasn't called social media. Anyway, looking in the comments though, who doesn't love taxation without representation? Explain what do you mean by that. Jasmine Crockett for president, says Melissa. They might actually try to shoot her. I don't know about Jasmine. Now listen, I'm okay with Jasmine Crockett. I think she's a very knowledgeable woman. She obviously leans left. The right despise her. Could be for her policies, could be for her gender, absolutely could be for her race. But the right despises Jasmine Crockett. I think Jasmine Crockett would have a real steep uphill battle becoming president. And she's not just African American, she's dark. I think it would be a challenging time. That's just my humble opinion. Because even among the African American race, the darker you are, you face more challenges as a woman. You can be a black ass man, Idris Elba type, and do okay. How many really dark Hollywood stars that are female do you really know of? It's not a lot. Maybe go back to the box. Because she speaks truth to power. Well, Jasmine Crockett is an attorney. She's smart. She is very smart. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen, get us on up to 80,000. Antonio Austin, good evening, welcome to the program. She is smart, successful, and beautiful. The whole package, says Jerry Zorn. I'm just telling you, sometimes that can be a obstacle for women, though. There are members of our community, members of our country that do not like or do not prefer a smart, intelligent woman that thinks for herself. Some folks believe that woman should be dependent upon a man. That mindset does still exist amongst us. Some people do not favor a woman that can think and operate on her own volition. Some people don't like that. Looking in the comments, Takesha's not in the box. I see somebody keep bringing up Takesha. She's not waiting in here because I would have brought her up. I don't see her in here whatsoever. Continuing on, Tamar, good evening, welcome to the program. Such an idiot you are, says Marco Mendoza. Well, Marco, you got a little bit more room to type more than that. We don't block, ban, and censor. Feel free to elaborate on what you're talking about. Tamar, good evening.
10. According to Trump, Jasmine Crockett has a low IQ.
According to Trump, everybody that doesn't like him has a low IQ.
Well, of course,
Yeah.
It seems that a lot of women of color seems to have the low IQ too. And Solomon the God too. He
Well,
has
you
a low
you you
IQ too.
do know DEI and lack of merit is a real thing on the right. I mean, people of color. I mean, usually when they're talking about DEI or lack of merit, it's probably somebody of color.
Did you see I didn't I was you ended up going on live, so I didn't finish watching it, but I was watching a clip um of I guess the Prime Minister from Canada was there today,
Yeah.
and it was showing up something with Trump, and he said something about cars. People don't want cars from Canada, and the dude looked at Trump like
Do they
what
make
the fuck?
cars?
Like you fat orange fuck. Like he looked at him like the face that he made, bro. It was unbelievable.
I haven't
I
seen it.
couldn't.
I was listening to it on. I got Sirius XM. I'm working during the day. I'm listening to it when I'm driving around, but I don't have the visuals of it. Now I'm dying to see it because what I heard between him and the Canadian Prime Minister, it sounded kind of cordial, sounded kind of friendly. But I didn't see that part though.
And I mean, it was like right before you went on live. I was on my way home, and I was like I was watching it, and I seen you was live, so I was like, oh, he started early today. So
Yeah.
I ended up stop watching it. It was on something on the I think it was the Midas Touch. It was either my. There's so many different things I'll be watching. I just be clicking on different things
I appreciate you
because I'm
clicking
not
here.
technically supposed to be on the phone, but you know, you know how it is.
I appreciate
So
you watching here. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it, but it sounds like it's too recent to be on YouTube. It just happened. I'm assuming it places like Midas and Parker will probably have it tomorrow. But I do because I'm looking here. I actually went on YouTube and put in as a search, Trump, we don't need cars from Canada. And it's pretty clear he said it before because there's all kinds of quotes of him saying it from 5 and 6 months ago. So he's already said it before.
now, what I'm going to say about this, as far as him sending the National Guard or whatever he said, the military to Chicago and all this other stuff, it's a test run. It's a test run for him to do the martial law because if they lose the
Midterms.
primaries in next year, not the primaries. What is it? The
Midterm. So what you're saying is you think if Trump loses the midterms, which because if he's
yes.
losing the midterms, he still has 2 months because the election is in November. He'll still have 2 months with the same Congress, Republican Congress and Senate in there until the Democrats, if they win, will take office in January of 2027.
No,
So you
he can't allow himself to lose the midterms because he knows for a fact they're going to impeach him.
okay?
So
Absolutely, yeah, they absolutely would do that.
right now to see because he's test running to see how everything can go to set the shit up so that he can set up military martial law so that they won't even have the midterms next year.
So you believe he's taking a page?
mean, like you think about it, you can't afford to even try to allow yourself to lose it.
So you believe he's taking a page out of the Ukrainians' playbook because they're at war, and that way, if there's martial law or some kind of created chaos in America, that'll be an excuse to not have an election.
You see in his face when he asked him,
Yeah.
when he asked Zelensky.
Yeah, he did light up. That's
I mean,
crazy.
this shit. Like Mike said, this is straight out of Project 25, and he called it. I wasn't listening last year when I guess when he was saying this, but I stumbled upon your show, and it's one of the best shows that I
Wow.
stumbled upon. So I'm glad that I
Appreciate that.
did.
Thank you. But let me ask you this. Keep in mind, we held elections during World War II. We held elections, I believe. I mean, I don't think there's any conflict in America so far that we've had that we suspended elections. I mean, I suppose if it gets really bad during martial law, I guess it could make up an excuse for that. I mean, if it's not safe to be in the streets, I suppose
When
it
have we
could.
ever used a Black Hawk in an American city?
Never, never.
Ever.
I can't
Think
believe.
about this. Think about this shit, Tim. Like we've never used a Black Hawk for any type of thing. As much shit has happened throughout history. When have they ever used a military helicopter for any type of thing?
Not in
throughout American
not in
history?
that manner. To actually have a Black Hawk helicopter hover
For
over them.
something,
Yeah.
for something on that level. It wasn't like they was robbing the fucking federal bank or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it wasn't even like there was some seriously violent person holed up in the building or anything like that.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, they just
they kidnapped somebody of importance or something like that. No, it wasn't. It was supposedly quote unquote some gang members were quote unquote in this building. A tip. That's what they had. So they went in there with Blackhawks. And what I was saying last night, I forgot to tell you. This was a it was a promo for ICE.
what do you
There's
mean?
an actual video of the Black Hawk. Yes, there's a guy I watched called Circular Talk on YouTube. His Crystal Ball's husband, I guess. Crystal Ball. She's one of the people that actually is on YouTube, and she debates a lot of different people.
I don't know if I've seen her before.
You've seen her. I think she's
Okay.
like brunette or whatever. Crystal Ball is her name, but it's her husband. It's called his page is called Circular Talk. He showed the actual video of the Black Hawk flying over the fucking building, and then arresting them and bringing the people out. It was an ICE promo video.
That's terrible to me. I mean, because we've watched shows
They
like
really did it like for a promo video to get people to apply for fucking ICE.
yeah. To me, that's terrible. We've seen shows like everything from America's Most Wanted. I mean, there's been shows on the Discovery Channel and National Geographic taking down drug dealers and things. You've never seen in America the law enforcement use a Black Hawk helicopter and have cops repel from that on top of a roof of an American structure. That has never happened. And we've had some pretty bad hombres that they've went after.
Like the army, the army commercial, when you join the
Yeah.
army, you see all the cool shit.
Yeah.
But half of the shit like you see in the commercial, you don't really do. But this was basically what that was.
We do more before 9 a.m. in Chicago than most militaries do all day. No, I've never seen anything like that in an American city. To me, Trump makes history almost every day. That right there, having a president deploy the military on American citizens the way he's done, I think out of all 47, there probably isn't anybody that's done that.
And I've got one more thing for you. Have you ever seen this movie? It came out in 2024. It's called Civil War.
I didn't like it. I went to the movies and saw it. I have watched it.
You don't think that's? I mean,
It didn't go in the direction I thought a movie portraying a civil war in America would go. To me, The Purge is probably closer to what I would expect. I mean, I saw it, but to me, The Purge, plus or minus a few different twists and turns, would probably be closer to what might happen, where you really got to be hiding out in places because people are out to take your life.
I mean, true, but I'm talking about like as far as the president going for the third term. It was more kind of based, kind of like Trump leaving the first time. But I think now it's actually kind of taking more place with everything happening with the press and everything in that and everything in the movie, except California and Texas being united. No, that's not gonna happen.
No, that was.
It'll probably be more like California and like in Oregon or something like that, and you know what I mean. But like certain things could be switched around. But I feel kind of like some of the of the plot of the movie is kind of happening now.
Yeah, I actually laughed when I was in the theater when I heard them say that California and Texas was forming this. I mean, I guess they did that on purpose to not make it too real.
That was the part that you couldn't find that.
Yeah,
that part didn't make no sense.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, I don't know if it's avoidable. I've asked one of my other callers. I think I asked Denkow that, but I don't know. Can we roll this back without having some sort of civil unrest or some sort of civil war? Can we? I mean, because
I don't think so. Because look at how he's pushing it. Like I keep telling you, I keep saying it, and I'm gonna say it till I'm blue in the face, and I'm brown skin like you. I'm telling you, they want a one party country, and they're gonna do everything. They're gonna do everything to get rid of it and just have MAGA. They're gonna override the regular rhinos, Republicans. They're gonna try to remove high seated Democrats by saying, oh, you were supporting Antifa and come up with bullshit charges and remove people. They're gonna try to arrest people. They're gonna do everything. Trump knows that if they lose the midterms, that instantly come January, I guess once everybody comes in, he's gonna get. They're gonna make movements to
impeach him. Yeah, they would impeach him.
To impeach him.
Yeah.
So why would he sit back and allow that? He's gonna do everything in his power to make sure that doesn't happen. And honestly, I don't. If his health allows him, he's building a freaking $200 million ballroom. And he's freaking he's putting big ass pictures in Washington all over the fucking capital of himself. Really?
I know he would.
And then he's blowing up these ships like
in Venezuela.
That's another thing I wanted to say. Think about what he's doing with the ships in Venezuela. If you remember when he was talking about doing his campaign, he was talking about China doing that. Yeah, I think I've touched
a lot of things that Trump. There's so many things that Trump has said about other people that has applied to him, and people certainly were okay. You know, he said if with Hillary Clinton, if you're pleading the fifth, it means you're hiding. You know, you're hiding something. You work for the mob. Then when he pled the fifth, it was totally okay. When Obama tried to reach out to Putin, he said back then in 2012 that any president that tries to reach out to Russia shouldn't even qualify to be president. He tweeted something like that. I mean, he said so many of those quotes that have come back now that he's president doing the same thing. I mean, he even said that if the country is shut down, the blame should fall on the president. He said that. But now that he's president and it's happening under him, it's different.
You should have seen her on being today. Pam Bondi. Oh, that little wench. She's terrible. You should have seen how she was answering those questions. They know that he's gonna have to give if he actually does leave, he's gonna have to pardon. You thought Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people? Shit.
Yeah.
How my man do it in The Wire? Shit. He's got to pardon. He's got to pardon out the.
There will be a whole lot of blanket pardons, and the right will just say, "Well, Biden did it too." I got to move it on tomorrow, but yeah, when Trump leaves, if he leaves the traditional way, he's going to pardon a lot of people. I don't think that's even up for debate. Tomorrow, appreciate you coming through.
All right, Tim.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. By the way, tap the screen, folks. Get us on up to 90. We might make 100, maybe. Tap the screen, get us up to 90. We're currently on X, currently on TikTok, currently on YouTube. If you favor dialogue like this from all sides of the aisle, we don't block, ban, or censor anybody. It's in a MAGA-friendly format. We criticize MAGA. We criticize the left. We believe in everybody having the right to speak. This program does not have a moderator. If you favor uncensored dialogue from all sides of the aisle, give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube. Follow the program if you're watching live currently on X, TikTok, or Instagram. Give your boy a follow. Looking in the comments, I'm going to try and see if I can make this work on this side here. I don't know. I haven't used this device to do this, but we'll see if it works on Instagram. This NG can't swim. I'm assuming you're referring to me as a Negro. Excuse me. Hang on a second. That didn't go well. By the way, who do I got on Instagram? Who do we have on Instagram? Can you hear me? Okay, apparently okay. Good evening. Welcome to the program. I ended up having a sneeze and blow my damn nose at the same time. All right, can you hear me? Some trouble on the Instagram side, I guess. All right, we'll have to reset the Instagram. All right, anyway, continuing on. Yeah, thank you, folks. Bless you. Thank all of you folks for that. By the way, tap the screen. Get us on up to 95,000. Help your boy get that TikTok cap goal. You guys can do that. Yeah, appreciate the blessings. What you on YouTube? Yeah, we're currently we're every platform is the same name, the Handsome Liberal. TikTok, Instagram, X. We do have a Truth Social account. We're investigating going live on Truth Social. Same name, the Handsome Liberal. TikTok, Instagram, Clapper, YouTube, X, Truth Social, and Rumble. We're on all of those. We're on all of those platforms. I don't know what I'm looking for my tissue. There we go. We're on all of those platforms. So, but we're currently live right now on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and X. Anyway, looking in the comments though. What do you mean? What YouTube? What about Facebook? We're not currently live on. And by the way, yes, Tim Liberals on Facebook is another platform we routinely go live on as well. We're just not currently live on Facebook right now. But Tim Liberals is our face. I couldn't get the Handsome Liberal on Facebook. I don't know if somebody took it or what was the problem. Every other platform is the Handsome Liberal, with exception of Facebook. When will the handsome guy come on? He's not going to come on. You're going to get my ugly ass throughout the program. But I'm the best and brightest. I'll show you handsome like no one has ever shown you handsome before. It'll be the biggest handsome program you've ever seen. I know more about handsome than anybody else. Trust me. I know more than the experts. How about that? Once the population realizes that it's not the left versus right, it's the government versus you, maybe they might realize what is happening. I don't think they'll ever realize that, Sassy. I don't think they'll ever realize that because you can always throw them a bone. As long as Trump throws the right a bone and continues to publicly pulverize the left, the right will see him as an ally. Even if, let's say, for instance, the financial situation, the financial aspect or outlook, rather, the financial outlook for the right begins to diminish, whereas they got to pay more for groceries, more for health care, they're getting paid less, they're working multiple jobs, their money doesn't go as far during the inflation and things like that. Let's say all of that happens to the right, but President Trump continues to pulverize the left, arresting people in liberal cities, flooding them with the military and things like that, and not doing it to the right. I think the right would still see him as an ally enough that they won't realize what you just said, that it's us versus government. They would still see Trump as an ally that is going against the radical left, even if they are actually hurting in the process, which to some degree is happening now with the farmers, federal workers that voted for Trump. There's plenty of folks that are actually conservative, that are actually MAGA, that are hurting from Trump's policies. You think everybody that was making money or worked for USAID were all liberals? No. Plenty of them folks were. Many of the, anytime you hear Trump stopping and cutting out, you think everybody that worked for NPR was liberal? The cameraman, the electricians, the tech support guy, you think they all were liberal? There's plenty of folks on the right that are being hurt by his policies. There's no denying that. Plenty of them. So as long as he keeps telling them that he's sticking it to the left, like with the ICE and what he's doing in liberal cities and things like that, I think that will be enough. I think that they'll just view that somehow, some way, no matter how long or how dark the tunnel is, if you ride on the Trump track, eventually there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And I say this because I've had viewers tell me, MAGA, I've had some of my beloved MAGA tell me, if you bet on Trump, 99% of the time things will turn out right. Very similar, and I always say this, it's very similar to the deity, very similar to God or whatever religion you follow. If you follow and trust in the Lord, 99% of the time things will turn out right. Even during your darkest day, even if you're on your deathbed, if you continue to follow the Lord, somehow, some way, things will turn out right. Even if you died thinking things were going to turn out right, but you never lost faith. I believe that Trump supporters are very similar to that. Very similar to that. That even if the economy falters or something, listen, whatever's happening right now may not be good. Just like people say, God works in mysterious ways, or eventually, no matter what's going on, God will make it turn out right. A lot of Trump supporters do believe that. If the economy falters, if the wars are not ending right now, as long as you stay the course, Trump will eventually turn things around. Very similar to how folks view. And no, I don't. King Finn says Trump ain't God. No, I'm not saying Trump is God. I'm saying the mindset of stay the course, keep the faith that MAGA has in Trump is very similar. MAGA would never say Trump is God. I get that part, but the way the faith is in him is very similar. It's very similar. Just trust in him, and eventually things will turn out right. People are in for a very rude awakening believing Trump, says Sassy. Well, respectfully, we have the freedom of choice to vote, but I just couldn't vote for hate with Trump. Look where we are at now. The military is going to, your comment got cut off, but I mean, there are folks on the right that think you were voting for destruction of the United States, voting with Kamala Harris, with the transgender stuff, with the border. They have a similar argument that if you voted for Kamala Harris, you were voting for the destruction of this country. So both sides believe that. Like I said, tap the screen, get us over 100. Help your boy reach the TikTok cap buddy at the Had Mustache goal. Show your boy some love. Help out with the program. Like MAGA Reacts and Jeremy. Well, Jeremy Brent claims that he is no longer a big fan of voting for Trump. And I wanted to, you see me on screen behind, not, don't know why that happened, but thank you very much with the Had Mustache. Appreciate that. That caught me off guard. This is something I hate that is happening, but it's happening nonetheless. I did a video several weeks ago. It's probably been 5 or 6 weeks ago. I got hammered by my beloved MAGA for doing this video. It's on YouTube, on the Handsome Liberals platform. 5 rights you will lose under Trump. And that's the name. 5 rights America will lose under the Trump administration is the name of the video. Now, the right told me I was fear-mongering, and some people even refer to me as a piece of shit for making a video like this. 5 rights America will lose under the Trump administration is what it's titled. Thank you. I appreciate that, King Finn. Thank you. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, and I'm not going to play the video, but what I am sad to say is, in only 5 weeks, several of the things that I said could happen on the path to losing rights has already happened. And I was just telling you how you could lose rights under President Trump. 5 different rights. I gave you 5 rights, and then I gave you 2 honorable mentions. I'm not even going to tell you what they are. But unfortunately, 2 of the rights have been actually proven. Not only the Supreme Court has ruled in manners that actually just deeply root the whole purpose of this video, to show you going to lose these rights. So 5 rights you will lose under Trump. Like I said, I made a video on it, and I hate that this is really, really aging well. I don't want it to age well. I want it to be wrong about this. People in the comments are criticizing me. You're fear-mongering and all. It's like almost as if he watched the video and started doing a playbook off of it. So 5 rights you would lose under President Trump. Name the rights you have lost, says the handsome conservative. Well, one of them I mentioned is the 4th Amendment, the right against unwarranted searches and seizures. The Supreme Court has now ruled they can stop you and check you based solely on your skin color. You've lost that right. You have lost that right under President Trump. They've now ruled based on the language you speak, the skin color, and the way you look, they can stop you. They didn't used to have the right to do that. You've lost that right under President Trump now. So I gave you 5 rights you will lose. That's 1. Like I said, there's more, but I'm not going to go into it. But you've already lost that right. So understand that. You've already lost your 4th Amendment right. They can now stop and search you based on nothing but the God-given biological design you were born with. You were born brown, we can stop you. You speak Spanish as your native language, we can stop you. That didn't used to be legal. It is now. Anyway, looking in the comments, though, he banned Epstein from being around him, left his most of the list. Listen, Vale, I'm not here to talk about Epstein too much, but I will just say this. The minute President Trump said stop talking about Epstein with all of those exclamation points after it, and then he proceeded to have Congress vote unanimously not to release the files, I don't know who's on the fucking list, but his activity is so shady. that there's no way I'm going to give him credibility for not being on it. Not to mention, they haven't explained why Ghislaine Maxwell is suddenly in minimum security. Why did you upgrade this woman from maximum security to minimum security? So I don't know who's on the damn list, but Trump's activity is so shady, so unexplainable that you gotta assume at the very least, if he's not on the list, he's friends or associates with somebody that is on the list and he's helping them. And I don't know how much credit you get if you tell me you're not a pedophile, but you're protecting one. I don't see how you get any credit on that. But he's done enough at this point that his credibility is shot on the Epstein stuff. His credibility is shot. And I'm going to tell you, you know damn well if you lean right, that if some liberal came in and took a serial pedophile, that's what Ghislaine Maxwell was essentially convicted of, and put her in minimum security, the party that is the party of law and order, tough on crime, you guys would go ape shit if somebody on the left did something like that. You're pissed off that this guy stabbed a woman on the subway in North Carolina who should have been locked up. But it's okay to put her in minimum security? I don't know. Anyway, let me go back to the box. I am not 100% happy with President Trump, but I will back him. And I am at least 51% on his side. David Kellogg, let me just ask you this. I don't expect you to vote for Kamala Harris or Biden if you lean right. I get that. Why not the other 9 guys that ran against him? Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley. Why not pick one of them that wouldn't have had all this baggage? What is it about President Trump? You would have got the same policies, probably about 90% of the same policies out of Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy that you're getting out of Trump without the chaos. Why not one of them? And I got the perfect answer. I'll go to the box, tap the screen, get us up to 110. Real quick before I go to the next caller, the perfect answer just came in. Why they didn't pick any of the 9 other ones, even though they would have got the same policies as they would have got from Trump. Jesse Cochran says none of them control the left as good. That is absolutely, in my opinion, the perfect answer, describes the right perfect. That is exactly what they voted for. Not necessarily the great policies of President Trump, but he goes after the people that they don't like. Because fact is, MAGA is not doing that much better under Trump right now than Biden. Groceries and shit hasn't went down. Salaries have not went up. There is no major improvement to the life of the average American citizen right now. But they love him. They're giving him an A+ and high marks because of what Jesse just said. He's trolling the left. And that's what I said. As long as he shows that he's an ally, people's lives don't have to improve for them to be happy with him. King Finn, good evening. Welcome to the program. King, don't know what I just hit there, but we'll bring up King Finn. Let's go Trump 2028, says Chris. What has he done worthy of a third term? King Finn, good evening.
Yes. Welcome. The king has entered the building. Yes, again, I have been summoned here. I've wandered in and heard all this MAGA bullshit. So I thought to myself again today, I shall slayeth a MAGA bitch.
You got a galaxy for that. I don't even get fucking galaxies. You got a galaxy for that opening, goddammit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, man, when you help to build a kingdom, this is what happens. I'm doing the work of a kingdom. Unlike people, who detract from things that are actually real and don't live in reality, the kingdom is real. Like, I don't know what to say about that. Thank you for the galaxy. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Somebody's showing you love, man. Somebody's showing you love.
Yeah, somebody showed me mad love. I love that. Thank you. So what's up, man?
Oh, man, I don't even know. National Guard in 4 American cities at this point. I'm asking, starting out, do you think he'll send it to any other cities?
Yeah. I told you a long time ago that this is all a part of a real idea that he had. He does not want to give up power. He showed you on January 6th what he do. He brought a mob there. Now he's president again, and he's able to bring a military mob or a National Guard mob, whatever you want to call it. He's not going to give up power. They keep thinking that he's going to have, we're going to be able to do these midterms. I don't think so. I think it's a really dark nail in the coffin of democracy. He's literally sending, he's making, first of all, he's making up lies to send people to cities. I've sent you a couple different videos where they're showing people having peaceful protests and playing guitars and dancing in front of the ICE building. The protest he's talking about, where he's saying Portland is burning, he said that because two people stepped on ICE property. That's what that was about.
And
Because
you know something interesting. It's interesting you would bring that up because that's what I asked in the beginning of the live. Is are we at a point where Trump can say we have an emergency situation going on in a major city and deploy the National Guard without actually having to prove the emergency is taking place at all?
He did it in Chicago. The trains ran in Chicago today. They're there right now. What are you talking about? He don't give a fuck. He don't care about none of that, Tim. You know that. He don't give a fuck about none of that shit. He's doing what he want to do. And same for the fact that he got Congress and all them scary little bitches in Washington that do exactly what he want them to. Mike Johnson with his grinder account ass, they all just gonna run with the motherfucking team. They're gonna do what they want to do. SCOTUS, they're following the playbook too.
But here's what I don't get, King, is why don't MAGA realize that if democracy does remain, by letting Trump send the military into major American, or better, let's just call it what it is, liberal cities, because they're not going to send them into a conservative area. I mean, so by letting Trump send the National Guard into liberal cities for any reason he wants to, do they not realize that a future liberal president could do the same thing to them in reverse?
Well, see, the reason that they don't think that, they're not thinking like that, is because they don't think that liberals have enough balls to do that. See, the reason that they follow so tough behind Trump is because of the alpha male macho persona he throws off when everybody knows he's a soft-ass toddler with a weak bladder, okay? But since he can command the military and say, oh, liberal bad, me Trump, me strong, me big dumbass orange Neanderthal, he's good, but he's not. See, I don't think we would have enough balls to do that because we actually run and live on a moral law, and they don't.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that I don't think it has anything to do with having balls. I think it is that the liberals probably would not push the envelope in the way Trump is doing it. That's what it is. It ain't that they don't have the balls; it's that they tend to not try to push the law like that.
Man, you seen yesterday with all the people who came up, and just last night you seen the same shit. All they think is that they're codified lies that they reel and throw to each other in these echo chambers like Fox and OEN News makes sense to them. That guy last night did not know what the fuck he was talking about. I mean, that dude, John O, he was literally all over the place. Jeremy, every time he come up here, all over the place. He has no idea, not a bit of shred of evidence at all. And if you tell him to go look it up, I'm not gonna do your research. Maybe you should do your own research. Maybe that will help. Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of gets frustrating to have to continuously prove these points to people, and they act like they don't exist, but they act like they don't exist because they are actually true, and they just don't want to see it. They just want to continue to parrot the same name. Trump. It's like that Family Guy episode where they walked into like Maryland or something like that, way out there, and they seen a whole bunch of people sitting in the cafe with Trump signs on, Trump, and everybody walked outside, Trump. It's a huge ass echo chamber with a bunch of parrots. But what they don't understand is Trump is not in the chamber with you. You seen January 6th. He had a dance party while you dumb motherfuckers tried to overthrow the Capitol.
How does this happen though, where he can be elevated to such a high status like that, and people just, like I said, you can send in the National Guard to a U.S. city and not even base it on legitimate reasons, like Portland is burning to the ground, so I'm going to deploy the National Guard to Portland when everybody knows it's not burning to the ground, and MAGA doesn't say anything about that at all. How do you get to that rank of a status?
Because it's easier to be divisive than it is to actually confront the real problem. The real problem is half of America was pissed off when they figured out that a well-to-do, smart black man could run this country better than 44 other white men. Trump is literally the white lash from Barack Obama.
So what are you suggesting, that they're just letting Trump run free because they were racist towards Obama?
Yeah, yes. Because anybody can run the country. Surely, if this overgrown monkey can run the country, a white man can. This is how a white man runs the country, right?
I didn't think it was that fucking bad. I mean, listen, under Trump's first term, the country was being ran. I mean, under Trump's first term, he wasn't doing a bad job, was he not?
Here we go with the damn fluffing. Here we go. I really don't. Man, listen, you're going to stop playing in my face, okay? You know damn well that economy was not his, and the only thing he did was Operation Warp Speed. I'll give him credit for that, but he had already fucked everything up. So no, I don't give you credit.
Well, let me say it this way, okay? If you know what I always say, when you're the coach of a team, you get the credit for the wins and losses. I don't care who economy you inherit. If Trump inherited a good economy from Obama and he fucked it up, we would be blaming him for fucking it up. So if he inherited a good economy and he maintained it, he should get credit for that.
But did he really though?
Yeah.
You know, COVID happened then too, right?
He fucked up COVID. He fucked up during COVID. I'll give you that. He handled the pandemic shitty as hell.
We can stop fluffing, Tim. Then we can stop fluffing. Because without him throwing out the fucking CDC playbook that Obama left him on noroviruses, other than him standing up there with Fauci every day and then going behind him and telling him that Fauci don't know what the fuck he's talking about, when Fauci was the main motherfucking protagonist in figuring out how to fucking cure AIDS or how to help cure HIV, then maybe we wouldn't have been in that shit. And maybe we wouldn't have had to fucking shut down the damn country like we did, even with the idiots and motherfuckers who are still standing outside constantly talking about this vaccine isn't going to help, but your damn grandma died last week. Please stop fucking playing with me. You know damn well if COVID wouldn't happen, maybe then you'd have a motherfucking piece of a fucking choice. But as you just fucking said, the coach get blamed for it, right? So he's going to get blamed for that shit. Oh, yeah. And telling people to drink Lysol and bleach probably didn't fucking help either.
He didn't do that. He didn't tell nobody to drink bleach.
Yes, he did.
He asked a question. He asked the question whether or not disinfectant could be used. He said nothing about bleach or Lysol.
Okay. All right. I guess he didn't say UV light neither, Tim.
He said UV light. Yes, he did say UV light. He didn't use the word bleach, though. I've actually played the clip. He didn't say bleach.
Was he listening to the top advisors that he had sitting with him every day? Was he listening to the guy who was over the norovirus? Did he throw out the motherfucking playbook that Obama left? Let's go there.
Trump don't even listen to the law. He don't listen at all.
Again, the coach gets blamed. The buck stops at the motherfucking top, right? It stops here, right?
I'll give you that. That's all I'm saying.
So just like when the big beautiful bill is finally enacted and those 4 million people lose their fucking health care and most of them are fucking MAGA and you lose the funding for the ACA because that's what the fuck the problem is with the shutdown now. Instead of doing his fucking job, what is he doing? He going to talk to the motherfucker from Project 2025. What is he doing? He's having a fucking meeting with a bunch of young, brand new fucking sailors dressed all up in their motherfucking Navy motherfucking suits and with fake ass motherfucking applause and shit for his fat ass. No.
Let me ask you something. Now, I have not asked this on this show to any guest, but something I should have asked because I heard about it earlier today. Did you know that he is threatening? Because when the federal government shuts down, the people don't get paid, and they come back to work and they get their back pay. He's threatening not to give people their back pay.
Yeah. He also told the soldiers to go take loans.
Why?
What the fuck?
What is the purpose of doing that?
He's not gonna pay them. You know why, Tim? Just like he's fucking the farmers right now. Come on, man. Listen, 2 + 2 = 4 every motherfucking day of the week, dog. You don't need to be a mathematician to know that 2 + 2 = 4. If he gave Venezuela $20 million to shore up their economy, but then turned around and fucked the farmers, but still sent them money and let China pick up the fucking soybeans from Venezuela, what else do we need to say?
I mean, I get all that, but why would he deliberately? Because we've had many shutdowns, and under Trump, not only is he's also threatened that some of the federal workers that are without a job until the government opens back up, he's threatening to fire them. And he's also threatened because the air traffic controllers are working right now for no pay. They expecting that when the government opens back up, they're going to get all their back money. He's telling folks they may not get any back money. I get that you don't like Trump, but why would he do that to a hell of a lot of workers that likely voted for him?
Why do you think he cares? I don't understand. I mean, you
He wants
give a
to
shit about
because wait, King. What the hell you mean? Why he don't care? The damn hat says "Make America Great Again" because that is his goal: is to make the country great. How do you make the country great by not paying Americans?
because you paid yourself. I told you yesterday, he's a greedy capitalist pig. He don't give a fuck about America. You think he give a fuck about you Bible thumping stupid motherfuckers? He don't care. He loved the ignorant. He feeds off that shit. He became a Republican because Republicans don't read. They're not smart. That's why he did it. Come on, man. Wake up. You know that.
I mean,
know you know that.
I understand the goal of sticking it to the libs, but it don't sound like he has a problem sticking it to MAGA either.
No, he doesn't, because he's sticking it to everybody. The idea that he's only sticking it to the libs should probably be thought as the same process as everything else he's doing. He don't give a shit about you. What did he do for Putin? Putin didn't do shit for him. What did he do? Oh, I'm gonna impose some tariffs. He didn't. What did he do with the tariffs? Oh, I'm gonna impose 100% tariffs on everybody, so grandma can't go get her medicine, but he can take a $15 million golf trip every time he wants to.
Is the situation as fucking hopeless as you're making it sound in this country? Is there any way out of this?
I wish it wasn't, but I told you my third party solution: go help Iran with their fundraising campaign.
Go help Iran?
Yep.
What is going to be the outcome of that? Why would you want to help Iran?
Well, Iran got a fundraising campaign to take care of it for us.
Oh, damn. You sound like gangster grandma with that. Oh, my God. 40.
Listen, I hate to sound like that, but think about it. Think about it logically. We have more than 3 years of him fucking us over a barrel. The farmers can't get rid of their crops right now. They're losing millions by the day. We have a government shutdown that's literally by the end of the month. We're not going to be able to pay out any federal programs. The ACA for healthcare is going to drop off 4, maybe 5 to 6 million people, and that was before that, because that starts November. So that's before Christmas time when everybody starts getting sick. But he's out golfing right now. He's talking to people from Project 25. He's making speeches about bullshit. He's walking around smiling, but he's not in Congress, even though the fact that the Democrats are in Congress, in the Senate trying to do some work. But where are the Republicans? Because he told the Republicans to go home.
So if his goal is to genuinely instrument martial law, which some of you folks are saying, so that he can suspend the election or whatever, then it would probably be best to fuck everybody over. You want as many people angry and upset as possible.
So again, why do you think he gives a fuck?
I don't have an answer for that. I got to move it on, King. I got to move it on.
Hold on,
I don't have an answer for that.
I got to do. You know what I got to do. Hold on. You know what I got to do. There we go. Thank you, people. Again, have a great night, and always, fuck MAGA and fuck Donald Trump. Thank you.
King, appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Go ahead and take us on out to 130. We're getting pretty damn close. He's doing a great job of that. Wow. He don't care about nothing but the rich, says Charles. How can he be stopped if that's the case? Cold Locks Productions. Help the baby tune that wants America and Israel gone. Wow. By the way, that farmer thing is false. I work at a co-op and we are taking in crops like crazy. There's a lot of farmers, though, Cody Locks. I like the name once I can read it, but there's a lot of farmers that are saying the opposite of you. I'm not a farmer, so I don't know which farmer is telling the truth, but there are farmers that are saying, like you are saying, that you're taking in crops and you're doing very well. There's a lot of farmers that are saying otherwise. There's a lot of farmers. So I don't know who to go with. I don't know who to believe. But I heard that this is on CNN, so I know what you folks on the right think of CNN. But I heard on CNN today that bankruptcies among farmers are up double-digit percentages. I don't like 20-some% or something like that. I heard bankruptcies among farmers are up. So they're not saying what you're saying, Cody Lux. Listen to all the other farmers talking. It's not just a few of us doing okay, says R. All right. I'm just simply saying they're claiming bankruptcies are up among farmers. They're showing town halls where farmers are showing up pissed off. Are they all just making it up? It doesn't matter how bad the economy gets. We could be in a Great Depression. There's going to be some people that are doing good, or some people that are going to tell you, I'm not doing that bad. There's always going to be some people like that. But I have not seen a whole bunch of farmers boasting about how things are going okay or they're doing well. You guys are kind of the outlier from what I've seen. Farmers are going bankrupt because they spend millions of dollars on unnecessary brand new equipment and can't make the payments. Well, they weren't going bankrupt under Biden. Were they not buying the same equipment? There's got to be more to it than that. You're saying that farmers are going bankrupt because they're making irresponsible decisions. They didn't just start making those decisions 8 months ago. There's got to be more to it than that. Nebraska, where I live, is the state that has the most private farms in the country, says Cody Lux. Yeah, they were making rumors that turned out, I believe, not to be true, that Nebraska was going bankrupt or something like that. I know that's not true. Look around, Tim. Farmers all have brand new trucks and equipment. I'm not around a bunch of farmers, Aaron. I can't agree or disagree. But I mean, like I said, they're showing up at town halls and shit like that. I mean, is that what we're going to start saying if farmers start going bankrupt? Is because they're making irresponsible decisions? I don't, something. Listen, I'll just say it like this. When you're getting rid of illegal immigrants by the thousands, and we know a lot of them worked on farms, are we to believe that that didn't hurt them at all by getting rid of their labor force? When you're imposing tariffs on countries that farmers often send their crops to, are we supposed to believe that that didn't really hurt farmers at all? When they were sending soybean to Canada, or they were sending rice to USAID, and you get rid of USAID, are we to believe that that stuff didn't hurt them at all? They're all doing fine. There's got to be more to it than that. I mean, we're seeing him making moves that we know are hurting farmers. There's got to be some people that are hurting from it. Now, if you got plenty of surplus revenue or whatever, depending on what crop you're in, I guess there's ways you can survive it, but it's got to be hurting some people. It doesn't hurt small farms, only corporate. No small farms are selling to other countries. Well, I mean, the corporate farms, don't that hurt their communities and things like that? If it hurts a corporate farm, and that farm comes close to going under or something like that, that's taxes to that community. That's job. I mean, isn't that going to hurt that community? There's got to be more to this than that. I just can't see how you could make all of those moves that affect this one industry and people are doing okay. Migrant farmers come in every year legally, then they go back after the crop season is over. Well, I don't know if they're coming in as much anymore. The equipment back to the dealer. Well, and that's the thing there too. If they're buying expensive equipment and they suddenly cannot afford it now, then that means the dealerships are hurting too. If the dealerships are having to repossess equipment and they're not getting payments, then the trickle down effect is that the dealers are hurting. I mean, there's and the John Deere dealers and stuff like that, then they're hurting. There's got to be some pain somewhere. You can't make all those changes and nobody is hurting at all. The equipment back to I saw that. If tomorrow means a year or two from now means recession, I don't know. But like I said, there's got to be some pain in it somewhere. You can't make all of those moves and nobody feels the pain. MAGA reacts. Good evening, MAGA.
What's going on?
Not much at all. Not much at all. Well, first of all, I want to ask you something that I haven't talked about as much on the program, but we did discuss this earlier. Dearborn, Michigan. Have you heard about what's going on there?
No, but I heard what you played earlier.
Yeah. So How do you respond with so many folks on the right that seem to have a major problem with this that are nowhere near Dearborn, Michigan? Why is the rest of the right? I mean, it's all over Fox and stuff. Why do they have such a problem with this?
I mean, the left is always kicking our ass when it comes to mixing, religion and church and just, like I remember.
Do you care though?
Them complaining about some Christmas stuff at a firehouse. And they're like, the firehouse is a public place and they shouldn't have religious stuff. Either way, like in this situation, that's like literally a prayer that they're broadcasting for everyone to hear, and it's not a bell ringing like a church would have.
So is it something like over? So is the right making something over nothing?
No, I think they have a reason. I think they have a good reason, because that's literally like broadcasting prayers all over public space.
Is that what? Now, is that? I mean,
I speak Arabic. I know exactly what that is.
Hold on.
I grew up listening to it 8 times a day. It says God is great, God is great, or God is bigger, really. They say God is great as a translation, but it's God is bigger.
Is that what's wrong with saying God? You guys all believe in God. The right believes in God, so what's wrong with it?
I mean, just prayers in general. Would you like it if a church broadcasts prayers all over, the town for you to hear?
It's on the money. It's in the schools. It's in the anthem. People talking about God. I mean, it's everywhere else.
Yeah, but this, like, it always bothered me growing up, like, hearing it, because I just, in my head, 1 second. I gotta call you back. You pick me. I've been waiting for you all day, and you picked me up on the wrong time.
Come back through. I'll bring you back up. Come back through. All right, moving on with the program. Islam wants conquest. What do you mean by Islam wants conquest? Because to me, I see America being more involved in Muslim countries than there are Muslim countries here, or Muslims. They talk about Sharia law. I think Texas passed a law that Sharia law cannot take hold or whatever. I mean, you got Trump in Gaza talking about he's going to make it the Riviera of the Middle East. Muslims haven't done shit in our country that equates to that. So I don't understand they go against our culture. They go against everything we stand for. They're here trying to change things. The man said he was going to take Gaza and make it the Riviera of the Middle East. We didn't experience any terrorist attack on October 7th. Why the hell are we talking about taking over Palestine or Gaza? Why are we talking about taking it? So I don't know how, them playing prayers or whatever. I don't know how the Muslim community has done anywhere near as much to us as we have done to them. Everything from imposing pro-American dictators like Hamid Karzai and shit like that. We've done so many things to them. I don't understand it. I really don't. Other than maybe, our shit don't stink. It's okay for us to do it to them. We just don't want them to do it to us. Like, for instance, people are complaining about this prayer being what amounts to noise pollution. You're waking people up in the middle of the night. We don't want to hear this shit. President Trump just talked about retaking Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan. Do you think we really give a fuck when we're doing Black Hawk missions at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and we're F-15s, F-16s, F-18s are taking off from Bagram Air Force Base at 2 in the morning? Do you think we care if the Afghan citizens are asleep and it's waking them up? Do you think we even care about that? While we're blaming this prayer that is being announced for only a few blocks in Michigan as being noise pollution, you think we even care about the noise pollution we make over in Afghanistan, over in Iraq? And I mean, we got bases throughout the Middle East. Do you think we care about the neighboring communities that hear that shit and all of the jets and stuff flying around and helicopters landing? Because obviously the military conducts a lot of missions in the wee hours of the morning. Do you think we care at all? Now all of a sudden the Muslims do it to us and oh my God, a few Americans can't sleep. How wrong are you? There's a lot of hypocrisy to this. There's a lot of hypocrisy to this because we got bases all over the Middle East. And they're performing missions and drills and shit in the middle of the night in people's neighborhoods. In fact, right now, Guam, which is an American territory, but Guam, the American presence in Guam has grown because obviously perceiving China as a threat, we're starting to put assets in that area. And the people in Guam don't like it because once the US GIs go to Guam, they need somewhere to stay and things like that. They need somewhere to eat in places like that. The cost of everything goes up for the citizens of Guam because all of a sudden the American GIs come over there and they got more money than the average citizens over that in that country do. So they can pay more for shit. So the struggling citizen of Guam can't compete. So housing go up, everything goes up. Everything goes. I mean, if you own a apartment complex in Guam and you're renting to citizens of Guam, but all of a sudden the government shows up and says, you know, can you help us make this a housing place for the GIs when they're in town? We'll give you a government check. You know that check is going to be more than what they're paying to stay there. So you're going to kick them out and put in the GIs. This is what's happening. This is what's happening in Guam. Looking in the comments though, what the fuck is that shit in your background? I don't know. What are you seeing in the background there, Moam or whatever your name is? What are you seeing that you're questioning? It happens at all bases here in the U.S. I didn't know that. Today is new day. So everywhere they go is what he's saying. The price of living goes up because they're showing up with government checks. Government checks cash. You know they go and government don't mind throwing around a little bit of extra money. So yeah, wherever they show up, I can see that. America is still pissed off about 9/11. Everybody that was involved in it is dead. Very similar to what's going on in Israel, where they're still pissed off about October 7th, which is more recent, but probably most of the players that were involved in October 7th are dead. They're actually killing thousands of people saying we want to get a corpse back. They're killing people to get corpses back. Most of the people that they took hostage are deceased. And the behavior of Israel is not conducive to bringing back live hostages. You're starving the people. You know your hostage is starving too. You're bombing the area. You know your hostages in the area you're bombing. They're not even trying to get them back. They're just coming up with excuses to keep bombing. Anyway, folks, look, thank you for the 130,000. I don't know what's happening here, but my screen is going in and out. Tap the screen. I guess I can see if we can bring up another call. We're having a little bit of issues here. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi or something like that. We didn't meet the hat and the I don't know. I'm not even going to say it, but going back to the box, we'll try and bring up the next guest. Okay, that didn't happen right. Something didn't go right with that. Looking in the comment section while I reset, I am confused. Are you left or right wing? Richie, where did I hear that name before? Richie, saying like Steven Seagal was in a movie where he went in some bar looking for Richie and started kicking ass. Anyway, Richie, I lean left of center. I lean left of center. I don't believe that Trump is a monster or everything about him is bad, but I lean left of center. And the further Trump goes to the right, the more left I'm going to look. I didn't move. Trump is moving. The Trump administration is moving further to the right. So even independents are going to start looking left. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, for instance, who's a conservative, is now upset about Trump's threatening to, the threats on healthcare costs. So the further he moves to the right, the more left-wing looking people are going to be in the country. Mitt Romney and George W. Bush, they're not left-wingers. They kind of appear left to Trump, though. I mean, the further he moves to the right, the more left-wingers are going to pop out because he's pretty far to the right. He holds both ways. I mean, he goes both ways. Bruno, I don't know about that. Do those families not deserve to get their remains back? Yeah, they deserve to get their remains back. You're talking about the families in Israel. Do they deserve to get their remains back from the people that were taken hostage? Yes. However, I'm going to say that the activities and behavior of Israel is not conducive to them getting their remains back. 90% of the structures in Gaza have been destroyed. Not to mention most of the leadership and participants of Hamas have been killed. Based on that, and I'm not saying that Hamas didn't deserve what was coming to them, but based on the fact that most of Hamas are gone and most of the structures in Gaza are gone, how can you feel confident that they even know where the bodies are? The bodies may be buried under tons of rubble. The person who hid the hostages may have been killed himself, not able to tell anybody where they're at. I mean, there's no way to know for certain if the remaining people in Palestine or the remaining Palestinians and Hamas even know where all the hostages are. Israel did not act the way you would if somebody was holding a loved one hostage and you wanted to get them back. Let's say I went and robbed a bank or something like that, and I took 3 or 4 patrons from the bank hostage, and I ran up into my house and I was holed up in my house. While I'm in my house, I took out a few shots at the police that are starting to surround my house. I fired out the window 2 or 3 times blindly. And the police respond by lighting up the house with as many rounds as they can put in. Just everybody's got an AR. They're on every side of the house. They're emptying magazine after magazine into the house. Does that sound like they really care about the hostages that are inside? That's what Israel has done. The actions of Israel don't sound like they care about bringing back live hostages. So, and then when you look at, because I'm only using the fictional example I use only uses AR-15s. Israel's using bombs and shit like that. You could have had a deceased hostage that you want returned that has been buried, that is decomposed, and you just blew the bones and everything to smithereens by getting hit with huge bombs and shit like that they're dropping. There's no way to know if those hostages are even in one piece or can be located with all of the strikes that Israel has imposed upon Gaza. There's just no way. My guess is some of them are never going to be returned. And you had folks in Israel, family members of those hostages in Israel, that were even complaining that what Israel and Netanyahu were doing was not conducive to bringing back live hostages. I don't think they ever wanted to get them back. I think the goal was this will give us an excuse to keep bombing. That's what I think it was. So maybe, but I don't think they're going to get. I don't believe once this is all said and done that Israel is going to announce we have received 100% of our hostages back. I don't think they're ever going to get them all back. And we're in an era now where they can use DNA to verify if they send a body back, they can use DNA to verify if it's the right person or not. They're not going to get them all back. Israel has bombed that country way overkill, way too much. It's like bombing a cemetery and hoping that everybody's remains will be recovered afterwards. You're not going to get everybody back. You're just not going to get them all back. Yesterday, Trump took ownership of the shutdown due to the border issue. He don't have to take ownership of it. Everybody knows that he can use the nuclear option and end the shutdown anytime. Everybody knows that is his shutdown. He can blame the left for it, but everybody knows that. Also, what does that say? Also, if that was their plan the whole time. Yeah, I do believe, I don't know if it was their plan the whole time, but I do believe that Netanyahu, fed up with dealing with the Palestinians and Hamas over the years, just said we can use the fact that they took hostages as an excuse to bomb them indefinitely. But I don't believe what's left of Hamas could even produce all of the hostages and their remains. I don't think they can even find them all. Not only that, but by starving the Palestinians for an extended period of time, you also starve the hostages. If you're going to continue bombing while not providing food to the area, then Hamas is not going to feed the hostages with what little food that there is to go around. You're not doing anything to give them an excuse to come to the table. So while you're starving them, it's being passed on to the hostage. So like I said, the activities of Israel has not been conducive to somebody who actually cared about the hostages. Would not surprise me, and we probably will never find out, but it would not surprise me if some of those hostages died because of what Israel did. Israel probably killed some of those hostages themselves. I'm not saying they killed them all, but it would not surprise me if some of those, because remember that Israel wants to take out the tunnels and things like that. Well, they were putting the hostages in the tunnels. That's where the hostages are. So if you're bombing Gaza to take out the tunnels, where do you think the hostages are hanging out? So clearly you're killing your own people. So they just begged them all, pretty please give them back. There is a lot. Well, first of all, I'm not going to say I know the direct solution, but I'm just going to simply say if somebody is holding your loved one, blowing up everything around them is not a good idea to get your loved one back. Israel took the worst path to getting them back. I think, what is his name? Bill Burr, the redheaded comedian, that Bill Burr made a joke and said, if somebody takes a baby hostage, if a bad guy takes a baby hostage, you don't shoot through the baby to kill the bad guy. That's what Israel was doing. If you run into a hospital, if you're Hamas, if we know you're Hamas, and you run into a hospital, that means the whole hospital is fair game. If you're Hamas and you run into a school, that means the whole school is fair game. They're not acting like somebody who wanted hostages back. And they're not acting like somebody, in my opinion, that's going to get hostages back. They're not going to get them back. There's going to be missing hostages forever. In that rubble, they're not going to get them all back. They may be able to identify pieces of them. Maybe we found the skeletal remains of a hand and DNA shows that this is your sister. That's all we got is the hand or an arm or something like that. But when you think about they're dropping ordnance on that area that can take down high rises. They can take down a high rise. So what do you think it's going to do to the person that's in there? It's not going to be enough left to spread on the pizza. They're not getting the hostages back. They're not getting them back. And they didn't act like they wanted them back, so they're not getting them back. Hamas is the perfect boogeyman and is needed for Netanyahu to remain in power. Sounds very familiar. He needs the conflict to continue, which is why he keeps bombing it. They don't want the hostages. To me, it's a hard argument to make based on what they're doing that they wanted the hostages back. There's no way in hell I'm going to believe that is what you do if you want a country that's holding your people hostage to do. Starving them to death? Like I said, if I'm in a house at the robbing a bank and I got hostages in my house, and you want me to come out so you prevent me from bringing any food into the house, well, the people that are in there ain't eating either. You can be for sure that whatever little food that I got in the house, I'm eating it. They're not eating the damn thing at that point. So, yeah, you're going to kill some of them from starvation. I'm not going to share shit if you do something like that. So, they don't want them. Do you think Trump's reasoning for moving out Mexicans isn't because of the drugs they bring in, but because America not getting their cut of the drug money since everything gets taxed? I think Trump going after the Hispanics is a host of reasons. First, I do believe replacement theory is a real thing. I do believe that the right believes that replacement theory is a real problem. And there are far more brown people in this country than blacks. So, and there's a lot more of them that were coming to the country than blacks. There you got some Somalis and folks but for the most part, the predominant amount, most of our immigrants coming to this country were brown. So if you want to reverse replacement theory, that's the first group you go after. So I think it has something to do with just really trying to rid the country of so many brown people, trying to reduce the numbers of brown people in the country. We can talk about fentanyl and drugs and things like that, but I don't believe even a small percentage of the brown people getting deported have anything to do with the drug trade. Grandmas and kids and shit getting deported, people that's been here for 20, 30 years. It's not the drugs. It's just like the Netanyahu thing where I was talking about over in Israel, where you can make up an excuse to do one thing when the goal is to do another. Now, with the deportations, it may stop a little bit of drugs from coming in this country, but the demand in America for getting high is so great that Americans are going to find a way to get high no matter. Just like, I'll give you the same argument in regards to the gun debate. How many folks tell you that if you get rid of guns, they'll just make their own? If you start banning guns, they'll just print their own. You don't think people can make their own drugs? Same argument. If you shut off the border and you try to stop fentanyl or cocaine, they'll just find it. American citizens want to get high, just like American citizens want firearms. If you stop the legal firearms, they'll print their own. Well, that's the same shit they're gonna do for drugs. You can make your own shit. They'll figure out ways. There's enough technology. You become a botanist. You got everything from fluorescent lights on down. You can find ways to grow virtually any drug that's produced on the planet in America. You just simply create your own botanical environment that is conducive to producing that drug. If you need to be in a wet tropical climate like, Panama somewhere, you can create that climate indoors. I mean, you can have a fucking shark in your house in Minnesota because you create a saltwater tank in an environment that sharks live in. You can create the same thing that grows cocaine, heroin, or whatever else you need. You can create it. And that's what the people would do. There's just way too much money to be made in the drug trade to let it go away if you could get rid of the brown people coming across the southern border. The white people will start doing it. It's as simple as that. If you stop the brown people from doing it, the white people will do it. You think about how much money you can be making. You think they're gonna stop that from happening? You're not gonna get rid of that. So no, you're not. You need to deal with the reason there is a demand. You're not going to stop it at the supply level. This is the same thing. This is the same argument about Trump sending in the National Guard to lower crime and all of this shit. You need to figure out why crime is happening. Until you address the reason why crime is happening, just sending in the military is not going to stop shit unless you leave them there indefinitely at whatever cost that is. I mean, but the minute you remove them, the same reason that was leading people to be criminals to begin with is still there. So it's like putting a drug user or a drug addict in prison. If you do not address the addiction, you're just temporarily warehousing a drug addict to the day they get out when they're dreaming of that first hit again. They're going to get out and they're going to go right back to doing it. It's the same thing if you got a criminal that is using crime as a way of making a living, so to speak, and you put a bunch of military in the area, you're not creating jobs for the guy. You're not creating resources for the guy. Trump is not doing any of that for DC. You don't hear him talking about, we're going to open up rec centers for children. We're going to create jobs in Chicago. He's not doing any of that. He's just going to send in the military. So once the military leaves, the problem comes back. I like drugs. I want drugs, but I hate drug users. David Kellogg. Never heard of that stance before. Never heard of that. They didn't learn nothing in school. Well, Cedric, sometimes life can be depressing for some, and that can lead them to try drugs. But like I said, if you get rid of the drugs coming across the border, people in this country will just make them themselves. That's happening. That happens in every environment. Humans will just adapt. There's so much money to be made in getting people high. So much money to be made in getting people high. They're going to always find a way to keep doing that. We love what it says. We love you, Trump. Keep going, says MAGA, says Jesus Rivera. A Jesus that loves Trump. So be it. Anyhow, folks, I do got to step away. My TikTok went down for a minute. I appreciate you folks that did tune in, and about 100,000 likes on there. We didn't reach the hat mustache goal, but who gives a damn? Thank you folks for tuning in. If you favor this type of dialogue, feel free to follow the program if you're watching on YouTube. Instagram, give us a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a sub. If you happen to be watching on TikTok, well, if you were, I guess, because we're not on TikTok, but if you happen to be watching on any other platforms, including X, follow us on X. I'm still trying to figure out how to bring people up live on X and read the comments. I'm still learning here. Why, by what means should one consider your opinion valuable? Sounds like a lot of, okay, he says it sounds like a lot of logical fallacies. Anything that isn't logical is not true, period. Well, you're asking me that in reference to my opinion, and I will submit to you that the answer you're giving is your opinion. And we'll leave it at that. That's why we have the right to have opinions. Some would say they're like assholes. That's your opinion. I wouldn't want to work either if the government taps me for 40% and I'll never own anything. It's a good point. I can agree. You know something? I don't care if the government only took 20% of my paycheck. If I can't afford to purchase a nice place to live, a decent car, pay for groceries, live the American dream, at some point, because I only go to work for money. Maybe you guys have a different reason you go to work every day. I only go to work because I get paid. I only go to work because the money is enough to give me a decent life. Once the money is not enough, I'm not going to go to work. I would rather do something else. I mean, God forbid I have to go to a life of crime, but I'm not going to go to a job that doesn't provide for my needs. It's just not. That's just me. I'm not going to do it. That's why some folks are starting to favor socialism, is that they're working multiple jobs and they just cannot catch a break. Whereas the socialist environment is telling them, well, if you're in this side of the aisle, you won't have to worry about those student loans, or you won't have to worry about those healthcare costs, or so they're like, well, fuck it. If I'm working two jobs and I'm not even able with two jobs to pay for what they're telling me, I'd rather go over there with them. That's what's leading people to lean towards socialism. Is capitalism has gotten to the point where it's become really unfair to people. But you should be making when you're sleeping. Depends on what you do for a living. It was bad before and it's still bad. I don't defend illegal targeting of citizens, but if you are here illegally, you gotta go. Them the rules. Yeah, but the problem is a large portion of the people that Trump is deporting were not here illegally. He made them become illegal immigrants. The temporary protected status folks, the Haitians, the Cubanos, they were not here illegally. He made them illegal immigrants. He's talking about getting rid of birthright citizenship. That person was here. That person was here legally. He is making illegal immigrants. He is making them illegals. And then suddenly they're right, well, you're here illegally, you gotta go. I wasn't illegal until this dude came in and made me an illegal. He's making people illegal. That's the difference. Going after people who may have had a mild shoplifting charge on their criminal rap sheet 20 years ago and taking their green card and shit like that. He is making people illegal. Capitalism is pretty awful when you think about it. I don't think capitalism is awful. It's the capitalists that are awful. The capitalists are the ones that are constantly bending the rules in their favor so that you get less and less of the pie. I mean, capitalism is all about greed. It's all about greed. That's why you got people that are making, billions of dollars talking about they still want to make more. I mean, you're already on enough money to feed your seventh grandkid. You're 7 generations down the line and you're still saying you want to make more. And oftentimes you're trying to make more by refusing to pay your employees who are living now a raise or let them unionize. And we entertain that in this country. We entertain that. That's greed. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be dealt with. Otherwise, people start looking towards socialism and all kinds of other stuff. Like an Elon Musk type guy. I mean, like at what point, how much fucking money do you need? You know his money is snowballing. You know the interest of his money is going to be every day he makes generational wealth. You could take the interest that Elon Musk made today, and that would be enough for your grandkids. That would be enough for you, your children, your grandchildren, probably a few generations down the line. Every day he's making money like that. At what point is enough? But to say that, you're a socialist. You're a socialist. Just to even say that. We need to let the government implode. Government can't do anything right. At least in my lifetime, right, left, doesn't matter. Sadly, things have to get much worse before it will get better. I don't agree with that. I do agree there's plenty of problems in the government, Jesse Cochran, but if you get rid of government and leave it up to the people, you're talking a Mad Max environment. It would be worse. It would absolutely be worse. The lack of empathy would be off the chain. If you got rid of the government and let the people run it, I mean, keep in mind the police are part of the government. Get rid of the police and you're going to have basically vultures roaming around. It'll be like Hurricane Katrina where you had dogs running in packs, just eating the animals that were remaining behind. It would be like that. It would be worse. I would rather have government with their occasional fuck ups than to just leave it to the people and let them decide. She fuck around and with somebody like me, you fuck around and bring back slavery. I don't want to let the people decide. I don't want to, because remember, even when the government freed the slaves, the people in some areas did not even tell the slaves that they were free and kept them enslaved. The government freed them and the people wanted to keep. I don't know. I'm not going to trust the people over the government. I'm going to tell you that. In the USA, you're paying for the easy life in a short amount of time. Imagine if you had to do everything yourself. You'll be 100 years before you're done building a bulldozer to build a house. Well, that's not just in the USA. That's in a civilized society. That happens if you're in England, if you're in Australia, if you're in a civilized society, that applies. Um, Capitalism now versus the Industrial Revolution are totally different. I'm just simply saying American citizens are not doing as well under capitalism, and it's making them consider other avenues. I mean, you can tell me all you want about the benefits of capitalism, but if I'm in an environment where I can tell I'm not going to climb the social ladder, I'm drowning in debt. I know if I get sick, nobody's going to help me out healthcare wise. But the socialist environment is telling me a lot of those bills are going to be off your back. There's only so far you can fall in a socialist environment because they do have safety nets. Meanwhile, the capitalist environment is like if you fall in your face, we're going to leave you on the ground until you either die or figure out how to get up. Some folks are going to choose a socialist environment. When did Democrats defund the police? Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. And by the way, the reason I give for that, because a lot of folks on the right say the Democrats want to defund the police. There are a lot of cities that are Democrat, that are in Democrat states. So the governor's Democrat, the county seat is Democrat. There's no Republican interference at all. And you don't see police being defunded. If the Democrats wanted to defund the police, you would see it. Because there's plenty of places that they don't have Republican interference that they can do it. You're very hard pressed to find many Democratic areas where the police have been defunded. It never was the case. It never was going to happen. The Democrats never wanted it. They took the word of a few anti-police BLM supporters, or maybe one or two Congress that did not like them, or some ACAP folks, and they pinned that on the whole Democratic Party. It never was true. Where is the Republican health care bill? It's not going to come. It's not going to come. Anyway, I got to step away. I got to go get me something to eat. I appreciate you folks tuning in. Follow the program if you're watching on TikTok, Instagram, and give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube. You guys take care. I'll see you tomorrow.